Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Let's talk facts. Well, since we talked this morning, going into the afternoon, there has been some updates on the Dallas Cowboys. And what we're going to be looking at here is the injury report. The injury for the report for the Cowboys is looking like it may be a problem. So I listed this morning, these are the players: Linval Joseph, back injury; Micah Parsons, ankle; Kalen Carson's shoulder; Zach Martin, back; Deron Bland, foot; Trayvon Diggs, calf; Kendrick, shoulder; Amani Aruwari, back. Well, Cowboys may be without 3 of these players that I believe that are going to be major. It looks like Deron Bland has been taken off of injured reserve, but he's not going to be playing. And I know why they took him off of injured reserve is because had they not taken him off, they basically would have to, from what my understanding is, they would have had to declare him gone for the season. And so since he is, for whatever reason, we don't know exactly what's going on, but from what's been said, there's been a setback. And so he's not quite ready. So he is more than likely going to be a scratch for this week. Also, in other news, let's see here. Micah Parsons is likely not going to play. And I say this is highly unlikely that he plays. He has not practiced, and I'm pretty sure the Cowboys are being cautious. And like I said, from what my understanding is, these high ankle sprains are kind of hard to come back from. So Micah Parsons will not be playing this week, so it looks like we'll be without Deron Bland. There'll be no Micah Parsons. And this is something to really watch. Trayvon Diggs has a calf issue. And there's been some practice behind closed doors, but nothing in the public. What's going on, Buddha? I don't think Trayvon Diggs might be playing. I don't think Trayvon Diggs, I don't think he's going to play this week. That would be a serious blow if Trayvon Diggs didn't play this week. Or, I mean, at least I say it'll be a serious, I say it'll be a serious issue this week if he doesn't play. But I don't know. Trayvon Diggs right now, I mean, this Dallas Cowboy team, you know what? We're going to talk about this more as the season goes on, depending upon how this season turns out. But, I mean, I'll be honest with you. If Jerry Jones is truly in a rebuild, and we're seeing kind of how this team is playing right now without these guys, I wouldn't be opposed. I mean, I really think the Cowboys should really consider whether or not that Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs are in the future. Yeah, I'm going to do a video after this podcast. After this live stream tonight, as I dig more into this whole issue with Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs. And you know, I know that people are saying that they didn't diss Dak Prescott and all of these different things, but it's dumb thinking. It's a lack of awareness. It's a lack of thinking. And for you to make a top 10 list and not to include your own quarterback, that's insane to me. That's insane to me. I want to go back and look. I want to see who they had in their top 10. I've just been reading about it, but I want to see who they have in their top 10. But it's just too much going on around the Dallas Cowboys right now. It's just too much. And I hope one of the things that Jerry Jones does, if he signs Micah Parsons, if you're going to have a podcast, I'm going to tell anybody on the team, you can do whatever you want to do on your off day. And if you want to have a little podcast, whatever, that's fine. But you need to stay away from all football-related things that would bring any kind of bad light to this team. I don't care if it's down to you making your top 5 running backs and leaving our running back off. Stay away from those topics. Stay away from any of those topics. They just don't make sense, and they don't help anybody. It just doesn't help anybody. And I know what they're doing. You know, they're going by who's, you know, the records and all of this stuff. But I contend this. You know, it's funny that they're making lists, but I can tell you this. Micah Parsons, even before the injury, was not playing like a top 10 defensive end. Trayvon Diggs has not been playing like a top 10 cornerback. I don't understand why would you make the quarterback list, but you're not making the defensive end and the cornerback list. I find that to be very strange. And so it's crazy to me that someone would make a list like this, because why would you do this? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It just shows either a lack of thinking, or now you're being like everyone else and you're calculated in your thinking. And so it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, Buddha. I mean, I don't even understand it. I mean, you think about Pro Football Focus. I mean, I want y'all to look at this. This is Pro Football Focus. This is Pro Football Focus before the season. I mean, before the season. If you look at the top 10 cornerbacks before the season, well, this is where Pro Football Focus is. Pro Football Focus. Top cornerbacks, 2024. Sauce Gardner, I agree. Trent McDuffie's Chiefs, yes. Kavarius Ward, Pat Surtain II, 4th. I'm okay, these all look good. Jalen Johnson, Jalen Ramsey. I don't know about that one. Jair Alexander, Kendall Fuller, Michael Carter II, Teron Johnson. Where's Trayvon Diggs? Where's Trayvon Diggs? Oh, I'm sorry. Trayvon Diggs, 19th. They had him 19th based on their statistics. He's the 19th best cornerback. I mean, if we're going to talk about folk, or if we're going to do things like that, then why don't we include our positions? Why do we not include our positions? Trayvon Diggs is playing right now. And guess what? I don't find it to be strange. This was Trayvon Diggs, one of his better games of the season. And that's why he got so mad at Mike Leslie, because of some criticism Mike Leslie gave him. This is Trayvon Diggs' best game. You want to know what's strange about it? San Francisco 49ers were playing with Deebo Samuels, who's not really that tough of an out of a wide receiver as far as covering him goes, because of how they use him in the running game. Brandon Ayuk wasn't playing. Isn't it strange? One of Trayvon Diggs' best games of the year. They were not fully loaded at wide receiver. But when you think about his performance, in totality, Trayvon Diggs is not playing like a top 10 cornerback, period. End of story. But I thought it was very tacky. Very, very tacky what they're doing as far as it goes with this whole thing. I mean, it's like everybody wants to get in on the act now. Everybody wants to get in on, getting publicity off of the Dallas Cowboys. And while I'm not necessarily opposed to Micah Parsons having his podcast, but I think when he starts getting into the team, when he starts doing things that's going to affect the team, it's time to shut that mess down. Now, if you're going to do that and it's nothing to do with football, that's fine. But if you're going to start doing football stuff and it's affecting the locker room and the team, shut that mess down. I mean, it's just stupid. And Jerry Jones needs to get a hold of it. He gave quarterback Daniels his top 5. Unbelievable. If this ain't gaslighting, I don't know what it is. Gaslighting the fan supporters, or they trying to send a message to Dak. It's pure buffoonery. It's pure buffoonery. It's almost like Diggs and Micah subliminally was telling us know what teams they like to play for. So Minnesota's in the picture. They might as well go to the Commanders. Just go. Well, I'll tell you what. If Jerry Jones was really serious about this rebuild, those, I said it today, I mean, they're probably the two pieces that you want to trade. Trade those two pieces. I mean, Micah Parsons hasn't been playing. I mean, Trayvon Diggs in particular. Trayvon Diggs is getting torched out there, y'all. I mean, Trayvon Diggs is getting torched. There is no getting around Trayvon Diggs getting torched. And so the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do, but they really need to make some, really some considerations about, what are they going to do going forward with this team? And so, again, I mean, when you think about Pro Football Focus, I mean, they're talking about even now, I mean, Trayvon Diggs is not in their top. He's not in their top quarterback rankings. And I don't have a problem. I mean, hey, they're having fun. That's cool. But understand that you don't make lists. That's why you don't do this type of stuff. You don't make lists and then you leave your quarterback off of it. What? And if you're going to leave your quarterback off of it, leave the list alone. Just leave the list alone. Don't even go in those areas. Just leave the list alone. Do you think it's a coincidence that they did this right before the trade deadline? You know what? I don't know what it does for them. I mean, Jerry right now, he's already said he's not doing anything, but who knows? I mean, if you really want to trade, just ask for it. I mean, just ask for it. I mean, if Micah Parsons wants to play for Dan Quinn that bad, Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, you did it once. Do it again. You want a Herschel Walker trade? It's right in your face. It's right in your face. You want the Herschel Walker trade? It's right in your face. I'm sure you could get a 1 and a 2 for Micah Parsons. There is somebody out there with visions of grandeur who is thinking, if we had Micah Parsons on our team, you could easily probably get their first round draft pick. Some of these teams with multiple first rounders, you could easily get their first round, probably the second, maybe a third, first and a third. I mean, you could really set this team up. Trayvon Diggs, I'm not really sure, y'all. I'm going to be honest. You're not getting multiple picks for Trayvon Diggs. You're just not getting multiple picks for Trayvon Diggs. He's just not playing good enough. He's not playing good enough. I mean, you could probably get a second for Trayvon Diggs from a team that is cornerback zapped. But if I'm a team, I wouldn't give a first-round draft pick for Trayvon Diggs. I would just go in the draft. What I need Trayvon Diggs for? I mean, there are literally going to be cornerbacks, I guarantee you, first-round draft pick cornerbacks with more speed, more quickness. Trayvon Diggs is very good ball skills. But I'm telling you, when you start messing with those legs of cornerbacks and wide receivers, it's a different ball game. I mean, Trayvon Diggs, you could probably get a second or a third, but you're not going to get a first-round draft pick with Trayvon Diggs. But if you want the Herschel Walker trade, I mean, here it is partially. What's going on, Nisi? I mean, Jerry, I think the problem is, though, I said it this morning, these players are taking on the characteristic of the owners. And so for them, this stuff means nothing. They're not even thinking. I mean, I've been going back and forth with Micah Parsons' brother on X, I mean, for the whole day. I mean, not the whole day, but just off and on. And he's defending his brother to the hilt. I understand it's his brother, but isn't it strange? He's defending his brother to the hilt, even though his brother is wrong. But his brother, who was supposed to be the brother teammate of Dak Prescott, is not that conscious enough that even if Dak Prescott's not playing that well, then stay away from the quarterback discussions. He doesn't even understand he's defeating his own enemy. His own argument. And so when you start talking about these kinds of things, the loyalty must be with the team. The loyalty must be with the team. Stay away from this kind of stuff. Isn't it ironic that Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs were having a conversation about the local Dallas media and how they hate on the local football team, the Dallas Cowboys, but then we get these same two people who are making this conversation, leaving their quarterback out of the top 10 discussion. Dak Prescott isn't necessarily playing top 10 quarterback right now, but do we dare say Patrick Mahomes not playing top 10 quarterback right now? Do we take him out of the top 10, or are we talking about this season? Because if we're talking about this season, Patrick Mahomes can't even be top 10. If we're talking about overall, Dak Prescott is top 10. He's just having a bad season because, one, this is the worst team he's had around him. Two, his coach is in a lame duck season, and he don't know what he wants to do on offense. It seems like to me he's in on whatever's going on, but it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Neither of them healthy. It's crazy. And so, but even for that, LaQueen, you think about it. When Micah Parsons was healthy, we got the stats. He wasn't playing top 10. Everyone was talking about Micah Parsons' lack of being effective. And watch this. They played their best game of the season without Micah Parsons, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Trayvon Diggs, you call it what you want to. Trayvon Diggs has been healthy, and he's been getting torched. He's just been getting torched. And he was getting torched last year. It's not just this year. He's getting torched last year. But I'm telling you, what's going on, Roberto? I'm telling you. This whole, what we're watching this season is just the culmination of this whole Jerry Jones effect on his players and in the locker room. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I would have lost confidence in Jerry Jones the day he brought back Ezekiel Elliott. I'm sorry. When he did that, I would have been like, wait a minute. Derrick Henry was out there for the taking. I don't know about y'all, but see, this is why these players, this is why they even need to stay away from the social media stuff. They have to be careful because they're observing things too on their team. You don't think that when the Derrick Henry talk was going on in the preseason and in the offseason, you don't think that the players are actually in their own minds going, boy, if we got Derrick Henry. Just imagine, you're a lineman. You wouldn't want to block for Derrick Henry? Derrick Henry makes the lineman's job that much easier. You know why? I don't have to hold the block the same way I do if it's Ezekiel Elliott coming back. I don't have to hold those blocks the same because Derrick Henry is going to run through arm tackles. So I'm not worried about the arm tackles. If I can just get a little bit of a delay, Derrick Henry going to hit that hole and he's gone. I'm telling you, these players were probably thinking that. And then when Jerry Jones doesn't get that player, then when Jerry Jones doesn't do anything in free agency, then he's talking about he's not doing anything in trade. What do y'all think that does to the team? We're really talking out of both sides of our mouth. I said it this morning. We want a team to be confident when that team is not even confident in its own ownership. Yes, team is like a family. Why are you adding fuel to the Stephen A. fire? That's my problem right there. You let the media be against us. But we don't want you being a part of the media. Because if you're going to be a part of the media, then you need to get out of here. This is why one of those players, they spoke out against Micah Parsons in that whole podcast thing. And I think more people are going to be doing it. It is crazy to me. It is crazy to me. What they're doing is stupid. It's absolutely stupid. And Jerry Jones, he's not going to do anything about it. He likes it. It brings more attention to the team. He likes it. So we can forget about Jerry Jones saying anything about it, especially this season. He loves it. He loves this stuff Because for Jerry Jones, there is literally no such thing. There is no such thing as bad publicity when it comes to Jerry Jones. There's none. And so while a lot of us are probably wishing that Jerry Jones would say something to Micah Parsons or whatever the case may be, I got news for us. There will be nothing said. There'll be nothing said about this entire incident. They'll just blow past it like it's nothing. But I like I said, I find it to be strange. They want to go to the quarterback position and no others. No others. We couldn't go to the running back position, could we? We couldn't go to that one. We couldn't go to their positions. It's all about them and trying to bind to the thing with the media. I feel like 2002 all over again on purpose. Yes. Everything we're watching is by design. Everything we're watching. Micah, yep, you said it, Nisi. Micah has been low-key dissing Dak from the beginning. He's always said a few things that have been out of pocket. Now, when Dak was going through that MVP run, he was talking about Dak as a beast. Yep, it's amazing. He's not a beast no more. Even though you know the team is not around him, you know everything that's going on your team, even your defense that you're a part of, you haven't been playing up to snuff, but you start talking about Dak Prescott. Wow. Just insanity. Just insanity. So, again, kind of getting back to what we were talking about this morning and taking it into the afternoon. So, now we're seeing that the Cowboys, they're going to have some problems. They're going to have some problems because looks like Trayvon Diggs is not going to play. Looks like Micah Parsons is definitely not going to play. Deron Bland's not going to play. But at the same time, I'll say this. I mean, hey, I'll argue with anybody. I'm telling you. I don't know what else anybody wanted for Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer, to me, did his job against the San Francisco 49ers. You take out that third quarter, and Mike Zimmer got this thing under control. It's the boneheaded play calling by Mike McCarthy that really got that game out of control for that team. It's what got that game out of control for the team. And so the issue is, we turn to the defensive keys. And we're not even, with the defense, I'm starting to realize I'm almost in repeat mode. I think we're all in repeat mode when it comes to the defense. Because for me, when it comes to the defense, I only see three issues. Everything else, we don't even need to worry about it no more. We don't even need to worry about it no more. This is where I am with this defense. There are only three things to me this defense needs to do. Stop the run, get pressure on Cousins, get some turnovers. And again, I feel like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. They don't really have at this point, as far as I can see. If Deron Bland is not back, Trayvon Diggs, he hasn't been getting turnovers already as it is. You don't have D-Law. You don't have Micah Parsons. Who's going to produce these turnovers? Just going backwards here. Who's going to produce the turnovers? Who's going to do it, y'all? Because I'm saying that we need to get pressure on Cousins. So how are we going to get pressure on Cousins? We're going to have to figure out a way to get pressure on Cousins. Now, thankfully, he's not as mobile as Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy killed us with those 56 yards. Those 8 carries for 56 yards from Brock Purdy last week, they killed us. Kirk Cousins is nowhere near that type of quarterback. So the question becomes, who's going to get pressure for the Dallas Cowboys? Mike Zimmer is going to have to scheme some pressure. There's no other way to slice it. There's no other way to slice it. Let me catch us up on the comments, and then y'all catch up on me where I am. The wrong kind of attention, Roberta's. We're talking about these guys and what they're doing. And we're having flashbacks, Buddha in 2015, 2002 all over again. And they need to tell their families to stay out of it. Who cares what Michael's brother or CD's mom has to say? This started last year. Let me tell y'all something. If my children were playing professional football, the one thing I would do is shut up. I'm not saying a word. They're the ones playing that sport. I got to realize everything I do, they'll think that my son told me something and now I'm sharing it with the world. I'm shutting up. I'm Terrence Parsons. I'm shutting up. I'm Dak Prescott's brother. You don't see him doing a lot of yicky yakking this year? Shut up. I'm just not doing it. I'm just not doing it. It just brings a bad light. It's a bad light. Here we go again after another loss. Instead of laying low and studying, y'all podcasting. It's going to never stop. It's not going to stop because the owner likes it. The owner likes it. So they're going to keep doing it. This is organized confusion, organized chaos. There it is. Jerry loves it. It's not going to change. There's nothing they're going to do to change it. I know podcasting was not popular, but going on the radio where what did Sean Lee do during his injury time? He studied film and showed it when he got back. Not here. Oh, and I'm going to show you something. Watch this. Y'all think Dak Prescott is dumb? I'm going to play something for you in a minute about Dak Prescott. I'm going to show you just how smart Dak Prescott is. I'm going to show you that Dak Prescott has emotional intelligence. Dak Prescott knows how to say things without saying things. And if you're listening to him, you can clearly hear some of the things that he's saying. I'm going to take you there in just a moment. But when we're talking about this defense, I mean, it's this simple. They're going to have to stop the run. I mean, they're literally going to have to stop the run. Because at the end of the day, I said it last week, I'll say it again. If the Cowboys can't stop the run, there's no conversation. There's no conversation. That Atlanta Falcon team is going to literally eat the Dallas Cowboys lunch. They're literally going to destroy us if we can't stop the run. And it's kind of hard when you're trying to stop the run and you're ranked 31st in stopping the run. 155 yards per game ran on you. You're 26th in yards per carry. Everybody who runs on you, they're running for 4.8 yards a carry. I'm telling y'all, this kid for the Atlanta Falcons is going to wreak havoc on the Cowboys if they can't figure out something. We're 21st in yards before contact, and then we're 25th yards after contact. We improved a tinge, but teams are still breaking tackles on us. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Here's another problem. The Cowboys, there's a rumor going out there about on the Cowboys, and it's not even a rumor. The tape is showing something about the world. I'm sorry, Buddha and the Yankees went to the World Series. Don't forget, he like a part owner of the Yankees too. Jerry Jones, this man don't care about football. Oh, yeah. Wow, I didn't know that. They don't need Dono and Hooker out there. Yeah, I hear there is talk about changes being made at safety. And the one person they need to play at safety is Marquise Bell. What are they doing? Marquise Bell needs to be on the field for the Dallas Cowboys, and he needs to be playing safety. Because I'm telling y'all something. If you look at what's going on with the defense, there is a blueprint for beating the Dallas Cowboys run defense. I want y'all to look at something. Inside runs, it says the Cowboys are 32nd. That means that teams are actually not running on the inside. They're not running inside on the interior of the Dallas Cowboys. You know where they're doing all their running? Look at this. Outside runs, they are first. This is courtesy of Cowboys Report by Chat Sports. They are first in outside runs. 66% of the offenses that run against the Cowboys, they're running outside. They are slaughtering them outside. They're slaughtering the Cowboys outside. And a part of that slaughtering is coming from partially no penetration at the line. Another part of it is, guess what? Anybody been noticing how terrible of a tackler Trayvon Diggs is? Slaughtered out there on the outside. Poor tackling at the cornerback position. Poor tackling at the safety position. Teams are running all over the Cowboys. They're running all over the Cowboys. So they're going to have to make some changes, because if they don't make some changes, I'm telling y'all, this game is a wrap. This game is going to be a wrap if the Cowboys do not do something to fix the run. And I'm going to tell y'all what's even more crazy. And in saying all of that about stopping the run, I got more confidence in Mike Zimmer missing all those defensive players than I do in Mike McCarthy with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. I think Mike Zimmer is going to put together a game plan to where the Cowboys will at least have a chance. I do. I think he's going to work magic. He's going to give this team a chance. Nisi said he's the worst tackler. He is. Trayvon Diggs is a terrible tackler. I know that's what we're talking about, I'm sure. He's a terrible tackler. And so, he's not, if he doesn't play this week, I don't know. How much is he going to be missed? We'll see. But this team, defensively, it's going to have its work cut out for him. If I'm not mistaken, it's looking here at total offense. This is as of October 31st. We're looking at total offense here. Total offense. The Falcons actually rank 7th in total offense. 21 offensive TDs. Their pass offense. Cowboys are number 3. The Falcons are number 6. You look at rush offense. We don't even have to look for the Cowboys. They're probably not even on the list, but I guess they have to put them on there. The Falcons are mid-pack. They're number 15. The Cowboys are dead last. This is going to be, I'm telling y'all, this Dallas defense is going to have its work cut out for it. The Falcons, they're number 12 in scoring offense. They score an average of 24 points, 24.3 points a game. This Cowboy defense, man, it's going to have its work cut out for it. It really is. And let's look at their red zone offense here. The Falcons, their red zone offense. Red zone offense, they're 25th. This could be another bend don't break game. So Mike Zimmer, and that's an interesting stat. We're 31st in red zone, so we're terrible. Falcons are 22, so it could be a very good bend don't break game for Mike Zimmer, which he seems to be very good at. Third down offense. Let's see where the Falcons rank. The Falcons rank 12th in third downs. So that's going to be a tough out right there for the Cowboys. So when you look at this for the Dallas Cowboys, man, this is going to be tough. This is literally going to be tough for the Dallas Cowboys. But I'm still saying, y'all, I am still saying in all of that, I still have more confidence in Mike Zimmer than I do Mike McCarthy. Still have more confidence. I think Mike Zimmer is going to do more with less. And I'm telling y'all, the Falcons, their rush defense, their rush offense, they give up 100. Let me make sure I go back to that. They give up 120 yards per game. The Cowboys, they're going to get more than 120 yards per game. This average is going to go up depending upon what Mike Zimmer does. I'm telling us, we're going to have a very hard time with the Atlanta Falcons. This is going to be a very tough game for this Dallas defense, because when you can't stop the run, that's one thing. But when you can't run the ball, that's a whole nother set of problems, because that means that you're going to do a lot of 3 and outs. That means that you're going to have very low time of possession. So that means that team will be getting the ball back quite often. And because they're going to be able to run on you like it's nobody's business, it's a recipe for disaster, y'all. It's a recipe for disaster. And so I'm telling y'all, the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, they literally, this is a game once again that does not play into their favor. And this is what they keep running into. I mean, it just doesn't play into their favor. And so when you get these games that don't play into your favor, I mean, what do? You think about the total defense. Let's look at that real quick, and then I'll catch up on some comments. The total defense. So the Falcons are 19th total defense. They are 19th total defense. We're 26th. So they're 19th total. But when you start looking at some of these other things, their passing defense, let's see where they rank. The Falcons are 18th. They're giving up about 215 yards a game. I think with the right scheme, if Mike McCarthy puts I can't even say if he puts his mind to it. If he becomes Mr. Hyde and he does what he did in the fourth quarter, if he does what he did against the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Dallas Cowboys have a great opportunity against the Falcons. They have a great opportunity. They should be able to pass the ball. I mean, there's no reason. They should be able to pass the ball. When you look at their rush defense, let's see where the Falcons rank. The Falcons rank 31st in rush defense. They're giving up, look like 131 yards a game. Cowboys are giving up 154. We're basically tied for last. And I give us dead last because the Panthers, we know how bad they are, so we shouldn't even be nowhere near them. So I'm giving us dead last. The Cowboys should be able to do a little bit of running on this team if they will commit. If they will commit, not committee. If the Cowboys will commit to Rico Dowdle being the starting running back on this team, let's give Dalvin Cook another opportunity to be number 2 on this team. And I did not bring this up this morning. I forgot to bring it up. But there is a player on this team. I was talking to my wife about it. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the chat. There is a player on this Dallas Cowboy team that I foresee the Dallas Cowboys letting go after this season. And it is going to be none other than Deuce Vaughn. I believe the Cowboys are going to let Deuce Vaughn go. And I don't think it's because Deuce Vaughn is bad. I don't think it's because Deuce Vaughn is bad. I don't even attribute it to the fact that Deuce Vaughn is short. And I want to be very careful. Deuce Vaughn is short, but he's not small. This dude is pretty big, man. I think last time they were saying he's somewhere around 5'6", 5'7", 180 something pounds. Let me tell y'all something. This dude, Deuce Vaughn, man, this dude is not a small dude. Let's see here. This dude is 5'6", 176 pounds. He's short, but he's not small. This dude is a pretty big dude. But I think the problem is the Cowboys just don't know how to use Deuce Vaughn. They just don't know how to use him. And so because they don't know how to use him, Mike McCarthy is not creative enough to know how to use him. They're just not using him. It doesn't make sense. I'm telling y'all, he's going to be one of these players. I will not be surprised. The Cowboys are going to let him go, and he's going to go to another team, and he's going to be a beast. He's going to go to a team that knows how to use him. He's going to be a beast. I guarantee you. The Cowboys just don't know how to use him. And the Cowboys do this to players from time to time. They get players, and they don't know how to develop them. And so those players leave and they go on somewhere else and they become good players. And that's why for me, the Cowboys, I talked about it this morning. I know we don't have the players that we necessarily want, but that don't stop us from playing the games. We still got to play the games. And so since we got to still play the games, we need to play with what we have. Deuce Vaughn, you got to figure out a way to use him. Get him in open space. He's shifty. You got to do what you do. You got to do what you got to do to use him. I would like to see Rico Dowdle getting 25 carries this game. We saw what happened when he got 20. He was 20 for 87, 4.3 yards a carry. I want to see what Rico Dowdle looks like with 25 carries. Give it to him. Give him 25 carries. You figure out something else to do to appease Zeke's emotions and feelings. You deal with that stuff. No, Rico Dowdle is the best running back on this team. No one's saying Ezekiel Elliott is washed. For all of the Ezekiel Elliott fans, no one's saying he's washed. He's just not the best running back on this team, and he doesn't give this team the best chance to win. I just believe if Rico Dowdle plays that game, same way I believe about the Detroit Lions game, that if they would have handed that ball to Rico Dowdle 20 more times like they did against Pittsburgh, that Detroit game is different. It's just a different game. He's a better running back. He is. This isn't Zeke in his rookie season. It's okay. It's Rico Dowdle right now. You said you're going to give him a shot. Give him a shot. Forget all of this politically correct nonsense of, running back by committee. Rico Dowdle 25 times. That's what I would like to see. Rico Dowdle 25 times. Dalvin Cook. We're going to get you some sweeps. We're going to get you some quick pitches. We're going to let Dalvin Cook run this thing 12 times. That's 37 runs. You want to mix in Ezekiel Elliott somewhere. Okay. Give him a couple of run plays, short yardage. Get him in some passing situations. Get him in the passing game. But the Cowboys need to run the ball about 35 times. 35 times, easy. Give Dak Prescott, hey, limit. If it's out, if it's bad, 30 times. Ideal, less than 30. I would only like to see Dak Prescott throwing the ball 25 times. Because if Dak Prescott is throwing the ball 25 times, he's unbeatable. That means you're giving him exactly what he wants and what he needs. Play action. I'm going to hit you for chunk plays down the field. We're going to run the ball. We're going to be in third and shorts. I'm going to dink and dack you, and then I'm going to hit you over the top with my tight ends. That's Dak Prescott. That is Dak Prescott MVP right there. We got to go back to that type of play. Nisa says she was happy when the Dodgers embarrassed the New York Yankees. Buddha says he was hurt so fair, but I thought he was good for like 2 weeks now. Talking about Bell, I agree. Marquise Bell needs to be the safety for the Cowboys. He needs to be one of the safeties for the Cowboys. Average 74 yards, which is dead last. Dead last. You know what could change that? Rico Dowdle beat our average. He ran for 87 yards, and they brought him out the next week, and Ezekiel Elliott started the entire first half against the Detroit Lions. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, y'all. Who gets rewarded for having the best game of the season, the best performance of any running back on the team for the season, and we beat the Pittsburgh Steelers? Tell me what kind of reward is it? The next week, Zeke's starting. What? It makes no sense. It's nonsense. No fears. The Cowboy swagger. Yes. Man, it's time to do this thing. Can Donovan and Hooker come down with that magic flu so Bell and Thomas can play? There are still people contending that Rico Dowdle had the flu. You know what? I could be wrong. But that coincidence is just too good. It's just too convenient for me. Cowboys average 74 yards per game last in the NFL. Yes. Awful, Buddha. Awful. But you sit the man down who beat the average? 87 yards? You sit him down? Make it make sense. Rico, Cook, and Hunter are the only running backs I need to see on the field. I'm telling you. I wouldn't mind the Cowboys. If you're going to run the ball, go back to the I formation. Emmitt Smith ran out of it. You put Hunter Lipke in front of Rico Dowdle. You let him be the lead blocker. You let him be the blocker on the sweeps. You let him be the blocker. Hunter Lipke, he needs to be a part of this game plan. and more and better utilized than they did last week. This should be a 3 running back game. Put all 3 out there at the same time. Do something. But I tell you who needs to be leading that pack. Rico Dowdle's the best running back on this team by far. And if we were talking about the Cowboys are the worst running team in the league, and we've been giving Rico Dowdle the ball 25 times per game the last 3 to 4 games, and Rico Dowdle has been below average, Rico Dowdle has only been getting us 40 or 50 yards, then I'm going to concede. Man, we got to do something else. Go get somebody in the trade. But how can you talk about you need a running back when you're not even utilizing the running back that you have? Make it make sense. It's the same thing with the wide receivers. I showed the stat this morning in those tight window throws. Jalen Tolbert, he's having the most success. When Dak goes to him, he's 7 for 12. Somewhere around 120, 127 yards, 1 touchdown. When he goes to the rest of them in tight window throws, 11 for 47, including CeeDee Lamb. You need a wide receiver too, but you're not utilizing the one wide receiver on your team that is having the most success in tight window throws? What would happen if you schemed him open? What if you had plays simply designated to Jalen Tolbert? What would you do then? How do we know Jalen Tolbert can't be a number 2 unless we say you're a number 2 and we're going to make plays for you like you're a number 2 rather than using him as when, okay, CD not open, where's Tolbert? Make it make sense. I'm with you when you say what you don't have. Where you're losing me is when you're not using what you have. Make it make sense. Zeke is going to retire after this season. They brought him back to break a couple of records in the Cowboys history books, I swear. Woo! Didn't think about that. Nisi says they will cut Dalvin before letting Deuce go. You know why? Politics. His father is a part of the staff. His father's a part of the staff. It's a shame, but that's how they operate. Zeke needs to come down with the Rico flu. It's crazy. And these Zeke apologists. I understand people like Zeke. I like Zeke. You can remember, if anybody remembers early on, I was saying I was against them bringing Zeke back. But now that you got him, I saw him in the first game. I was like, okay. I even predicted when they got him back, I said, okay, he'll be a short yardage specialist. That's what I kind of figured he would be. Short yardage specialist. I mean, okay, I got you. Short yardage. Use him in the passing game. Use him as an extra blocker. Maybe a couple of screens here and there even. Okay, I saw it. Work him in the passing game. Get him in space. Get some blockers in front of him. Throw him about 4 screen passes this next game. I mean, you can utilize Zeke in places other than the running game of where I think he would actually flourish better if you got him in the passing game. Why not? I mean, I'd argue with you. He might be the 4th best wide receiver on the team. Y'all tell me what you think in the chat. Could Zeke be one of our receivers? I say yes. I would be working Zeke out as we speak at wide receiver, slot wide receiver. I would. Hey, Zeke, we're going to use you, man, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to let Rico start the game. We're going to hand this ball to Rico 25 times. But where we're going to work you in, Dalvin Cook's going to be our second receiver. We're going to work you in short yardage and get ready. You're going to be using our passing game this week because we actually think you're better than Jalen Brooks. Tell me I'm wrong. I'll even take Zeke over Kevontae Turpin, who's not a traditional wide receiver. I'm using Kevontae Turpin. He's my gadget guy. He's my go deep guy. He's my deep post guy. He's my jet sweep guy. Oh, I'm going to keep Kevontae Turpin playing. But I'm going to use Ezekiel Elliott as my dink and Dak short receiver. He's going to be my short yardage receiver. I'm going to keep Zeke in front of Dak Prescott. Wherever Dak is running, I'm going to keep Zeke in front of him. He's always going to be the safety valve. And if we can get Zeke on a linebacker, if we can get him on a cornerback, man, Zeke will make mincemeat out of him. Zeke is good for 5 to 10 yards on those type of plays. We're not using Zeke to his strengths. If you go back and look at where the New England Patriots were even using him, Zeke was pretty effective in their passing game. We running around here worried about people's feelings, though. But he's the running back and he's got a... What are you talking about? This isn't about what he wants to do. This is what he's best at doing. And that's what the coach is supposed to do. He looks at what everyone is best at playing and he puts them in that position. That's why I'm not letting Trey Lance sitting over here with no doggone clipboard. You're not sitting over here with a clipboard, bruh. You're going to be on this field some type of way. Paying too much money for you to be sitting over here with a doggone clipboard. Tolbert is on his way to being a complimentary Alvin Harper to our 88. Why are we not using him? He doesn't need to be the alternative. We need to say, this is the game plan, CeeDee Lamb. We got you and Jalen Tolbert plays in here. Come on, man. It's time to stop. It's too late. Next week is really going to be too late because there'll be no more trades. And unless the Cowboys are going to pull an April Fool's on us, there'll be no trades for the Dallas Cowboys at the trade deadline. There'll be no trade. So you got to use what you got. Yes, Garrett was doing it. You got to use what you got. I'm telling you, I would take Zeke over Jalen Brooks in the passing game. I'd rather have Lipke in that role. Well, the reason why I don't want Lipke in that role, because I got a different role for Lipke. I need Lipke to stay constantly in the backfield. Constantly in the backfield. He's going to be my blocking back. And I'm going to send him out for some passes. See, I'm going to get them used to him being that blocking back. And then when they get used to him being that blocking back, Lipke, throw a chip, run out for the pass. Got you every time. Lipke, you're going to be on the screen play. We'll fake the screen to the right and the screen will be to you. I'm going to keep Lipke on the field as a constant threat. Constant threat. See, I got him in my run game. He's in my run game. I'm thinking, yes, he would. Roberta, talk to me. Talk to me. We busy trying to use Zeke as a runner where he's not effective. He'd be devastating in the run game. Get the ball to him in open space. Zeke is not at the point in his career where he's going to be great between the tackles. He's definitely not going to be great as an outside runner, but where you can use Zeke, short pass plays, screen plays, sure yardage, sure, not short, sure yardage plays. Let him run down the field, 15 yards. Let him run 10 for the sticks. You can do this. You can do this with Zeke. We're using, see, the problem is we won't coach. We won't coach. I don't know who we trying to please, but we're not coaching. What's going on doing stuff with CJ? We're not coaching. Coaching is not just calling plays. That's what people don't understand about coaching. Coaching is when you say, who do we have? Who do we have? What can they do? What's their attributes? What's their speed? What's their hands like? You know they have all this stuff rated, right? What's their quickness? What can they do well? So rather than us complaining about what we don't have, let's use what we do have and we use it to the best of their ability. Let's put them in position to succeed. We won't do it. We won't do it. And that's why Deuce Vaughn, we don't know what to do with him. Zeke is that seek and destroy dude. I think that was Shotty said that today even. Wish we could trade Jerry. Yeah, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. Yes, he would. I'm telling us. Nisi said Jerry doesn't want Dak to run, so we'll see Trey Lance drawing stick men on that clipboard. Now, I'm gonna play something for you here in a minute, Nisi. I'm going to play something for you in a minute. It's probably a good time to play it, and we'll talk a little bit more about the defense. But I got a couple of clips I want y'all to hear. I'm going to play Mike McCarthy first. I think I'm going to play Mike McCarthy first. I want you to hear what Mike McCarthy says. And when Mike McCarthy answers this question, it lets me know everything I need to know why this team is having so many issues. So many issues. Doing stuff what CJ said. Last time we played y'all beat us 43-3. This Sunday, things will be a little different. Oh, you Atlanta? Oh, I see that A. I see that A on there. I see you. Yeah, like Usher said. Oh, yeah. It's going to be different, Don. It's going to be different. And, of course, we talk Cowboys in here, but I'll tell you this. If we can't stop that run game, y'all going to slaughter us. Y'all going to slaughter us. And we're going to have a long, long day. Y'all going to slaughter us if we can't stop that run. That's just bottom line. We can't stop the run. It's over. It's over. So it would behoove us. We better figure out how to stop that run y'all have. Because if not, Kirk Cousins, he gonna eat. Kirk gonna eat off play action. So I'm gonna play a couple of clips for you. And I found both of these clips to be very telling again. Here we go, y'all. We gotta go to Mike McCarthy. And Mike McCarthy, once again, is saying some crazy stuff. What's going on, no cap? What's going on? I'm going to get to your comment in a minute. Watch this. I want y'all to listen to this. Tell me this isn't crazy.
Contradicts with the AP. We've asked you quite a bit the last couple of weeks about how you think Dak's
staying on top of the details and the continuity will increase.
Scott. This contradicts with the AP. We've asked you quite a bit the last couple of weeks about how you think Dak's playing. And the argument could be made that he's the most proven path out of the hole that you all are in right now. It's kind of the age-old question of the balance of leaning on him to kind of get you through this, but not asking him to do too much or making sure he's not feeling like he has to do too much. How do you feel about that?
Well, number one, this system is built on making the quarterback successful. I mean, that's the way I learned it 30 plus years ago. So, everything we do is built into that. And obviously the starting point of making a quarterback successful is running the football. So we can start right there. We need to get more production, the run game, increase the action pass opportunities. And then from that, take it to the next step is the pass protection. And then, obviously the pass perimeter. So it's about making him successful. If anything, I would guard against, asking him to feel like he has to do more than he's already doing. So he just needs to really focus in on playing quarterback and he's a great worker. I mean, super diligent and we'll get to where we need to get to. Staying on top of the details and there's a
Scott.
Did y'all hear Mike McCarthy? I'm going to replay that. And I want us to break this down piece by piece. We're going to break this down piece by piece, y'all. I want y'all to really absorb what the question was and the answers that Mike McCarthy gave inside of that. No Cap says, I keep seeing Cowboy fans asking if they can trade Dak. LOL. Okay, trade him to Seattle with DK, Lockett, Walker, and Smith, Jeba, and see how fast you don't recognize Dak. Boy, you done said something here. You done said something here, man. Man, you give Dak them weapons. It's a wrap. It is a wrap. It's a wrap. No doubt, no cap. No cap, man, that would be insane. Hey, no cap, I'm about to tell you, man. Your boy Brock Purdy. Your boy Brock Purdy put foots in us, man. Those run plays he did, those were death blows, no cap. No, those were death blows, bro. Brock Purdy rose to the occasion. Got to give him credit. Even though we had an opportunity to win, he rose to the occasion. And all this trading Dak stuff, this is just crazy talk. I mean, it just goes to show you sometimes about fans. I mean, I know you're a fan, but sometimes we need to do a little bit more diligence in understanding what's going on here, that this is just not the type of thing to where you can just go to where you want to go and, get who you want to get. And, this isn't that, man. I just can't get with people who complain about what you got, because you got it. If you got it and you can't get rid of it, so what do you do? Nothing? No, I'm going to do everything I can do to make what I have better. I'm going to do the best with what I have. I just can't get into this whole thing about complaining about what you don't have. And some of this stuff needs to be studied, because I think this stuff is deeper than football. Some of this stuff is deeper than football, because that's crazy talk. Revelation said mumbo jumbo by Mike. Y'all ready to break it down, Revelation? Because we're going to break this thing all the way down, what he said. Purdy is a good quarterback, man. 60 million? Hell no. You know what? With the way Shanahan deal, he probably won't get 60 million. He probably won't get it. Probably won't even get close. And then you'll hear a story about old Purdy. He took a pay cut because he wanted more players on the team. No, he took a pay cut so he could be on the team. What up, Angie? You missed it. I was talking about Zeke. Talking about how we could use Zeke and Rico and Cook and Lipke and all of them at the same time. But we may circle back around, as the old saying goes. But let's break this down. Let's break down what Mike McCarthy said. Let's go back, y'all.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. We've asked you quite a bit the last couple of weeks about how you think Dak's playing. And the argument could be made that he's the most proven path out of the hole that you all are in right now. It's kind of the age-old question of the balance of leaning on him to kind of get you through this, but not asking him to do too much, or making sure he's not feeling like he has to do too much. How do you feel about that?
Well, number one, this system's built on making the quarterback successful. I mean, that's the way I learned it 30 plus years ago.
Now I'm going to show you something of why Mike McCarthy is a serious problem. He said the system is designed to make the quarterback successful. Now, I don't know if y'all remember this. There was a lot of talk about the Texas Coast offense. The Texas Coast offense was supposed to be a variant of what he's talking about, the West Coast offense. Now, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but the West Coast offense is predicated upon short, quick passes. Short, quick passes. I mean, 5 yards here, 5 yard slants, 5 yard comebacks, stop routes, 5. And it's also predicated upon those wide receivers being able to get separation, because you're going to need quicker receivers to do those type of things. But this is the statement that got me. One, you said this was the Texas Coast. It was supposed to be modernized. But number two, this is the problem. He said 30 years ago. He's basically running a 30-plus-year-old offense. And I'm sure there are many who are still running old concepts. But they went in and they've added wrinkles to them. I mean, at the end of the day, there's only 11 men on the field. There are only so many routes you can run. Only one person can be in motion. You can only have a maximum of maybe 5 wide receivers on the field, but that means that you're probably going empty backfield. There are only so many ways that you can set up the players. And I've even heard guys talk about that when you go to another team, what you're learning is language. Because everyone is pretty much doing the same basic things. Where the differences come in is in the creativity of the offensive coordinator. And that's where the Shanahans are rising to the top. The Sean McVays have risen to the top. The Andy Reids have risen to the top. Because why? They are great innovators of these basic concepts. They do different things with motion. They give you different looks. They give you different block designs. They give you all kinds of different wrinkles to old ways of doing things. And what I just heard from Mike McCarthy is he's still running, and from everything I'm looking at, he's running a 30-year-old offense. Where are the wrinkles from last year? And even the wrinkles he added from last year, he copied those from other offensive coordinators. Okay. Imitation is the greatest form of flattery. I'm sorry, Mike McCarthy, you called a great game against Pittsburgh. You had a great game called against you at Detroit. Why don't you look at what he did? You want to run the ball? Why don't you go study the Shanahan's offense? Shanahan is a mastermind. Him and his father, Mike Shanahan, they're a master at running the game. They're a master at running the ball. They are a master at it. John Elway's entire career was changed by Terrell Davis. Terrell Davis and that running game. You got to study guys who do what you're trying to do. I do it. If there's something I'm trying to do, I go study who does it well. I read some books. I watch some videos. I'm going to study guys who do what I do well. So I then can add my own flair to what they do so I can be better. And that's what you're supposed to do. Roberta said, been a Cowboys fan since 69, not leaving the Cowboys. Oh, no doubt. Angie said she's been listening. Mike be putting foot in mouth a lot. Doesn't he, Sam? Mike be up here tripping. Man, Mike be saying one thing, doing 9 other things. You said this system is designed to make the quarterback successful. You learned it 30 plus years ago. You need somebody with a newer mind. What is in that cup, Mike? It's something in there. It can't be water. Revelation said 30 years ago, Dak was just swimming down the birth canal of his mama. When I heard that statement, that I'll just like to fell out of my seat. DFW country, what's up? Diggs and Parsons ranking quarterbacks and saying Daniels and Hurts, 2 quarterbacks. Yeah, we're going to deal with that later. We talked about it a little bit at the top of the hour. Crazy. Crazy, isn't it? Now, Jalen, I mean, Daniels is playing out of his mind right now. Jalen Hurts isn't playing well. He isn't playing any better than Dak. But he has a running game. He has not one receiver, but he has 2 receivers. Defense, a little bit better. But he's playing with more tools. Mike just run the same plays of all the games that you blew teams out with last year and the games won this year. Exactly. I'm serious, Niecy. I don't understand why he has not went back to the Pittsburgh game and said, what the heck did we do in that game? Has anybody else looked at the fact that no one has done to Pittsburgh since what we did to him? Najee Harris is running on other folk, but he didn't run on us without Micah Parsons, without D-Law, without Deron Bland. We kept them in check. Justin Fields, he wasn't taking as many risks. But go back to that game. Go to the Detroit game. Take a couple of plays. I don't understand what's going on. So this is just crazy. 30 years ago, we were kicking the snot out of you. That was the first thing that I heard that made me go, what? Literal insanity. Let's listen to the next thing he says.
So, everything we do is built into that. And obviously the starting point of making a quarterback successful is running a football. So we can start right there.
Okay, I'm in this room by myself. I'm not sure where y'all are, but okay, let's assume, who is the we? Who is the we? Because we don't get to control what you do, Mike. So I'm asking the question, maybe there's some, is Jerry Jones truly telling Mike McCarthy what to call? You said it starts with the running game. You got a running back on your team that you committed to giving him 20 carries against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He went 87 on 20 carries, 4.3 yards per game. He also caught passes. He caught 1 touchdown for you. He basically had 100+ yards of production for you. What else do you want from the running back position, Mike? But instead of coming out and saying, wow, Rico Dowdle did the thing against Pittsburgh, let's give him another opportunity against Detroit, and this time we're going to run him 25 times. I don't want to hear anybody talking about, well, Rico was really sick. That's why he didn't play against the 49ers. Was he sick against the Detroit Lions? He wasn't sick against the Detroit Lions, and he only ran for 5 more carries than he did when he was ill. He was 5 for 25. He beat his average of 4.3 yards a carry. I just wonder, Mike, what would have happened against the Detroit Lions had you said, Rico, you ran 20 last week. We're going to run you 25 this week. Even if you figure it in at 4.1 yards a carry, 4.3 yards a carry, do the math. Rico Dowdle runs for 100+ yards. Colin Cowherd has already said it. Dak Prescott with a running game is almost unbeatable. He doesn't need a dominant run game. If you just give him 100 yards, Dak Prescott is almost unbeatable. You said it starts with the running game, Mike McCarthy. Who has control of that? Is it you or Jerry? Y'all got to help me out, because I'm just realizing I'm the one that's dumb. I'm the one that's dumb. Who are the we? Did Rico Dowdle tell you he didn't want to run? Who is it? The tape don't lie. People can tell me anything they want to. The tape don't lie. Rico Dowdle crushed your season average of 74 yards a game. He destroyed it. And you've only figured out in the 2 games that preceded that game, you have found ways not to let him play anymore. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, y'all. And then we keep putting it all on Dak Prescott. We won't run the ball. Well, wait a minute, Mike. Didn't you say that it's predicated on running the ball, making the quarterback successful in your 30-year offense? I would dare say that Dak probably could be a little bit more successful in your 30-year-old offense if you would run the ball with Rico Dowdle. Come on. Rams have a kid undrafted, taken by the Niners, but poached by the Rams. His name is Cody Schrader, best running back in SEC last year. Got Heisman votes. Cowboys should look into him. He's on the practice squad. You think they're going to do that? Why would they look on the practice squad? They wouldn't even let Dalvin Cook off the practice squad. And then number 2, and I'm agreeing that they might be something good to look at. But why look at him? Rico Dowdle ran for 87 yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers. What can he do if you say no committee? We're committed to you, Rico Dowdle. 25 times a game. Even at 4.1 yards a carry, you can do the math. He's going to be a 100-yard rusher. And I bet you this team plays better. But I'm not going to say what I was about to say. I'm going to let you hear the next thing Mike says. Mike is not too bright. Something's wrong, Roberta. Word salad, Spider-Man. Exactly. Maybe he can call some plays. Something's not right. What I miss on the show? Roger, we've been going in. We went on the defense. We've talked about the Trayvon Diggs and Micah Parsons thing. Micah's a liar. He can't remember his lies. Keep forgetting what he's saying. That's why he keeps contradicting himself. And I'm going to show you. You want to see how I know he's contradicting himself? You watch the other clip I'm going to show you. Tony Simmons, got to get better run blocking scheme. Wait. I'm going to give you something right there. That's where I'm going next. Maybe call a play that doesn't telegraph a run to the A gap on the first down every series. Robert said it's all political. Jerry doesn't want his team to succeed. Playing demolition. I said it yesterday. This man is handicapping this team. He's handicapping them. Thought it was crazy, but I'm starting to believe they handcuffed Dak. I wasn't happy he got that contract, but this organization is dysfunctional. Oh, you better believe it is. And Dak's contract's not the problem, I promise you. And the Dallas Cowboys know his contract is not the problem, but they keep using it as the excuse. They use it as the excuse to fail. The we is Jekyll because Hyde is at the podium. I'm telling you, I called him Niecy. He's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We're literally looking at two different people when this man is talking. That run game talk, that's Mr. Hyde right there. Oh, that's Mr. Hyde. When he's talking about that run game, that's Mr. Hyde. When he's running the ball in them games, that's Mr. Hyde. Nobody told him to go away from the run against the 49ers. You're up 10-6, could have went up 17 or 13-6 had you kept on running the ball, but instead you go pass happy in a situation where you shouldn't have been pass happy. Into the fourth quarter, you could have ran the ball, didn't run the ball, you threw it 4 straight times. Dak Prescott almost threw an interception on the first pass. Perfect pass to Cavante Turpin, I think was the second one. My recollection is not where it needs to be, but I'm telling us. Tony Simmons says Texas Coast offense doesn't include a run scheme. Now the pressure on Mike installed run plays. That's the problem. Strange, isn't it, Tony? We're not even talking about Texas Coast no more. Anybody recognize that? What happened to the Texas Coast? What happened to the Texas Coast they were so excited about? Now we're going back to the offense he learned 30 years ago. Is there some kind of bonus clause in Rico's contract? Is he not supposed to get so many yards? I'm with you. Sam says, left out loud, too many politics involved. No doubt about it. Roger says, the Falcons gave up about 120 yards a game. We better get 100 yards this game. You know how we can do it? Rico Dowdle hasn't dropped below his average yet. 4.1 yards a carry, 4.3 yards a carry, 5 yards a carry in Detroit. He hasn't dropped below. The formula is there. Mike is saying it. If you want to make your quarterback successful, he already told us. So let's just stick with this old West Coast. We're not even talking about Texas Coast no more. Let's stick with what he's telling us. Mike is saying that if we will run the ball, so you said we, who is the we? Who is telling you not to run the ball? That's what I want to know. Who are you speaking against in your press conferences? Who is telling you not to run the ball? No Cap says every quarterback that's recently paid have super teams. Yep, Goff, Lamar, Hurts, even Burrow got weapons. So what's going on with Dallas? Jerry is doing a disservice to his quarterback. Every last one of them, they went and put players around him. Revelation, Jerry has declared civil war against the union on his own team. So Mike is telling us, watch this. Y'all listen. He's been giving us the steps to win. It sounds ridiculous to me. So you know how to do it, but you refuse to do it. So it's predicated on the run. But you won't run the best running back on your team, Rico Dowdle. Let's hear what he says next.
We need to get more production, the run game, increase the action pass opportunities, and then from that, take it to the next step is the pass.
Wait. We're not letting that go. We're not letting you go, Mike. Dak Prescott's scouting report out of college said, play action quarterback. But if you refuse to run the ball, Mike, how does Dak use play action? You said the system is designed for the success of the quarterback. So let's go down the line, y'all, and check these things off. You said running the ball. X, you're not doing that consistently. You said play action. Okay, you're not running the ball consistently, so there's no way you get play action consistently. Y'all hearing what he's doing? It's craziness what he's saying here. It makes sense what he's saying, but the craziness is he's not doing it. Why is he? Who is he telling this to? Because I'll be honest with you, he's preaching to the choir. We're the choir. You're preaching to the choir, Mike. We want you to run the ball. We want Dak to do play action. Who are you talking to?
The next step is the pass protection, and then obviously the pass perimeter. So it's a.
So wait a minute. Wait a minute. I want you to see his face when Mike says this stuff. Hold on. Boy, Mike be saying this stuff with a straight face, boy.
The run game, increase the action pass opportunities, and then from that, take it to the next step is the pass protection.
Watch this. I'm about to tell y'all something that I'm sure many of y'all don't know. Y'all know what sets up pass protection? Running the ball. Y'all know why this Dallas Cowboy line is getting exposed on a level that is unbelievable? Because the majority of the time, they're passing the ball. And if you ask any offensive lineman, which would you rather do? Pass blocking or run blocking? I bet you 99% of them would tell you run blocking without a doubt. You want to know why they'd rather do run blocking? Because in run blocking, you get to take it to the opponent. In pass blocking, the opponent gets to take it to you. Because you're trying to hold your position. Not only you're trying to hold your position, well, the first thing you got to do, and what's hurting Tyler Guyton is he can't get position because they dip him out and go in. They dip him in and they go out. So where his strength is his strength. They're taking that away from him. And so he keeps finding himself, rather than being straight in front of his opponent, he finds himself, because they're too quick, his feet aren't quick enough yet, and so he finds himself on the side of them. He's on the side of them. They're running around him. They're doing all those things. But in run blocking, you can run schemes. You can run schemes. You can run stunts. You can do all kinds of little things. I mean, you can pull. You can pull the guard. You can do things that can help. You're running straight at the guy, or you're running at an angle at the guy. You get to dictate. So guess what happens? Watch this. So if you run the ball and you run it consistently, you know what happens to that defensive line all of a sudden? You're wearing them down. You're wearing that defensive line down. And now that defensive line, they're real apprehensive because they think that it's going to be a run play, and they're getting it taken to them. And now they have to think. They have to read. They have to, okay, is it actually a running play? I mean, they've been running the ball. I mean, when are they going to pass? And so then when you run that play action pass, guess what happens to the defensive line? They bit on the run because you've done it so much. They don't get that running start. They don't get to get off that back foot. They don't get to come at you with that force. You've came at them, or they're anticipating that run. You kind of, wait, I'm going to hold my position. Oh, it's a run. It's too late. I got your cornerbacks. They're looking in the backfield. I got your linebackers. They're moving up closer to the line of scrimmage. I got your safeties. They're coming down. We got to stop the run. They're peeking in the backfield. Surely they're not going to throw this. Oh, they're throwing that. You see what the run does? Mike McCarthy is saying all the right things. Problem is, he's not doing these things. You know why their offensive line is being exposed? You can't make a young offensive line pass block all the time. They're going to get their lunch taken. They're going to get their lunch taken. You can forget about it. They're going to get their lunch literally taken if you let that defense pin its ears back on a young offensive line and just say, we're going for your quarterback. We're going for your quarterback. And there's nothing you can do because we know that you're passing, so we're going for your quarterback. I don't understand what's going on with Mike. Mike is like the person who's telling you he knows all the answers to the questions, and then when he takes the test, he fails, and you're going, but you were giving all the answers in class. How are you failing the test? No ability to apply what you're saying, or you're being controlled by somebody. Roger M., I'm saying it. You're kind of where I am. Let me catch up. Nisi said Mike McCarthy going back 30 years for plays. Insanity. DFW Country says we're not getting multiple turnovers a game and definitely made the offense look better. They're not getting hardly any turnovers. None. I've said Kellen Moore was much better than Doughboy. Kind of hard to argue with you on that. Roger says, don't let Dak throw more than 20 times. Run the ball. We'll help him out. We'll help him not turn over the ball and help our defense. I'll give him 25. And that's tops. And there's a reason. Roger, you're hitting it right on the head. Because if you run the ball, the play action works. You run the ball, the line blocks better. You run the ball, you get separation. You know why? Because the cornerbacks can't play the pass the whole time. They can't play the pass the whole time. They're willing now to take more chances and say, wait a minute, this may be a run. They're gouging us. Or they're marching down the field with these 4 yards run. We got to play closer. Guess what happens? Wide receiver gets more separation. Tight end gets more separation. Dak's going to be getting wide open looks. Let me give you the formula. Dak Prescott, play action pass, chunk plays. You start playing the chunk plays. Dak Prescott, dink and Dak, dink and dunk. He's going to hit you with the short ones. Then you're going to try to play the short ones. Dak Prescott hits you up the seam with the tight end. This is MVP Dak Prescott. It's MVP Dak Prescott. We won't do it. And Mike is telling you the formula, but he's not doing it. Cowboy Nation, what's going on? Because Mississippi State didn't want Dak Prescott. Jerry had no option but to get him. We didn't want him, but we did. Now we are stuck with him until January 2025. We will get rid of him soon. No more Dak. Well, I don't know how you're going to explain that one to me because that contract he got now is ironclad, and he'll be here for the next 4 years. I know what? I don't know what you're talking about on the Mississippi State thing and that they didn't want Dak Prescott. I mean, just speaking facts. Now, anybody in here who knows the history of Dak Prescott, and this is, like I said, I'm going to do I got some plans for the offseason because, I don't want to just be dealing with just making up stuff. We're going to be dealing with player profiles in the offseason. And the reason why I'm going to push back on you, Cowboys Nation, not because I love Dak Prescott or any of that stuff, because you're not being factual. The Dallas Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken, and I may be mistaken with what game it is, but if I'm not mistaken, the Cowboys coaching staff always gets the opportunity to coach the Senior Bowl, I think it is. Y'all correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but I know it's one of those games that they get to they get to be the coaches for. And basically what that game is, I mean, I think it is what it is. It's the Senior Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, now my spidey senses are tingling. You done got my mind going now. Hold on a second. Okay. Now, I'm gonna show you, Cowboy. I'm gonna show you, Cowboy Nation, Lakers, whatever you said. I'm going to show you how, again, you got to stick with the facts. You got to stick with the facts. The Dallas Cowboys, they get the privilege, I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but they get the privilege of being the coaching staff for the Senior Bowl. And Jason Garrett, if I'm not mistaken, was the coach of the Senior Bowl. Y'all take a wild guess who went out there and destroyed everybody in the 2016 Senior Bowl. I hate to be the bearer of truth, but it wasn't because they didn't want Dak Prescott. See, you got to know the history of Dak Prescott. Let me see if I can pull this up. Hold on.
There are trucks.
Hold on a second. We got to have we got to have just a break, y'all. Y'all give me a moment, because we got to help people when they start talking stuff that's not true. And this is one of the problems with people. They buy into narratives, and I don't even know where sometimes people get this stuff, but they buy into narratives that are absolutely not true. And so what sold the Cowboys on Dak Prescott, one, was the Senior Bowl. But number two, and there's another fact. Let me see if I can pull this up. I'm going to show you. I'm just going to show you. You don't know what you're talking about. See, the reality is the Dallas Cowboys probably wouldn't have got Dak Prescott. They probably wouldn't have got Dak Prescott. But let me tell you what happened to Dak Prescott and how the Dallas Cowboys were able to get him, because his draft stock dropped. So let's look at this part first. Dak Prescott at the 2016 Senior Bowl. Did y'all know he won the MVP?
Here's the score. Here's the South offense with Mississippi State's Dak Prescott. At quarterback is going to hand to Washington. Out of Texas Tech, and again, 2-minute warning coming up in the first quarter. Obviously, at the end, they switch sides offensively.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm trying to get to the Dak Prescott plays here.
Okay, Dak Prescott I find intriguing. Jacoby Brissett, who down there I find intriguing. Allen. There's a bunch of these guys that are going to go in the mid-rounds that I think somebody's going to fall in love with. And, DJ, what do you think about that?
I'll tell you what, the one that generated the most buzz outside of Wentz this week has been Brissett, because you've got somebody with some size that can move around, and I think he's throwing the ball a little bit more.
Isn't it hilarious they're talking about Jacoby Brissett?
Consistently than Dak Prescott has. So if you're looking just at the buzz meter amongst personnel friends, I would definitely go with NC State's Jacoby Brissett.
Okay, I thought Law Nation would have had the Dak Prescott highlights. I'm going to come back to that in just a moment. But I'm going to make a long story short. Some of y'all already know this about Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott was the 2016 Senior Bowl MVP. He was the Senior Bowl MVP. And you know why he got voted out? Jerry Jones got voted out as it pertained to Dak Prescott? Because Dak Prescott absolutely balled out in that Senior Bowl game. Dak Prescott actually got inducted into the Senior Bowl Hall of Fame in 2022. Don't give me this whole issue about the Dallas Cowboys didn't want Dak Prescott. No, Jerry Jones may have wanted who he wanted. But his advisors was like, no. And in particular, guess who? Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett was pushing for Dak Prescott. He was like, no, this guy's good. This guy's good. I'm laughing at the announcer. He's talking about Jacoby Brissett. Who would take Jacoby Brissett over Dak Prescott unless you're a Dak Prescott hater? The running teams don't just commit to the run. They run wide right, followed by wide left. The fat boys up front are gassed by the third quarter. All we do is slam it up the middle. Absolute facts. Tony, the only so-called mean lineman we have is Tyler and Cooper. Everyone else is charming. And we're not doing them any favors with the way we're running the ball. That's correct, the way we're running the ball. Nisi said open book test and failing. Every single time. Tony says 10 3-and-outs in a row. We should wear them out. I'm telling you, run scheme is garbage. Straight up. Straight up. Shelby says, run, Dak, run. Dak attack. Dak talked about that too. Senior Bowl. Yes, the Senior Bowl. This dude killed it in the Senior Bowl. Recipe of 16 is key. Dual threat quarterback and a solid line is key. Spider-Man says they should call it the Audition Bowl. That's what it is. And that's how the Cowboys wound up getting Dak Prescott, because regardless of who Jerry Jones wanted, the team was like, heck no. This guy, Dak Prescott, is really good. Dak is the most tall because Dak supporters think he's good. God to others will say he stinks. He's a good quarterback, but fact is his mobility is an issue. Now, I don't think Dak's mobility is an issue. I think we talked about it the other day. No, it's by design. They don't want Dak Prescott running. And there have been others talking about the fact that the others have been talking about they think that maybe something going on with Dak, but I haven't heard anything about it, even though he did wear a boot. Cowboys Nation, Lakers Nation, correct, cuz. Talk about, and Shelby said, Dak, see, we need a young creative offensive coordinator. That's it. We are running plays from 1994. It's facts. Dak's career has been way overhyped or too much hate. I would agree with you to a degree on that. Yes. That team beat Alabama. I'm telling you, Dak Prescott was killing it in college, and people do not understand. Let me interject this. Y'all want to know why Dak went so? Look at this. This is what happened to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott got a DUI. I remember this. Dak Prescott got a DUI, and people were talking about this. And if I'm not mistaken, this had some influence on his draft also. Probably one of the reasons why you don't hear about Dak Prescott drinking right now. I think it had an impact. It had an impact on his career. And so, but Dak Prescott dominated the Senior Bowl. He dominated the Senior Bowl. There's no doubt about it. And so, yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you can see the headlines on this stuff. Dak Prescott defense, a stout defense led South to 27-16 Senior Bowl win. But I find it to be strange that they're talking about that, but Dak Prescott, he was the MVP. And multiple quarterbacks played. But Dak Prescott delivered a touchdown late in the first half to open a 17-3 lead that eventually proved to be the game-winning points. Dak Prescott selected the Senior Bowl's most outstanding player. Dak Prescott really played better than all of those guys. I mean, you think about the name, Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz was in that. I'm telling you, Dak Prescott, and I agree with DFW Country to a degree. I think Dak Prescott, and where I think the overhype comes in is he's overhyped to the point of his contract. He's overhyped to the point that people expect him to do more. But somebody in the chat, and you tell me, repeat it again, but you think about the Cowboys are doing actually the opposite of what everyone else does when they have an MVP caliber quarterback. They've surrounded these quarterbacks with weapons, even down to Patrick Mahomes. He's surrounded not by offensive weapons this time, defensive weapons. He's surrounded. The Dallas Cowboys, we got a mentality of, well, we paid him $60 million. He ought to be able to overcome. We don't have a running game. He ought to be able to overcome. We don't have an offensive line. We don't have a defense. We're hurt on defense. Well, he's making $60 million. What does that have to do with anything? They don't pay you $60 million to play multiple positions. They pay you $60 million to play your position with a commitment of putting other players around you that can play their position. It's crazy what they do. It's crazy what they do. But I'm telling you, just go back and look at that. I couldn't get the highlights like I wanted. I don't want to prolong the show or knock out some of the things that we're talking about here. But no, Dak Prescott is the real deal. He's the real deal. He's just like anybody else. If you don't have players around him, I don't care who it is. And if you don't have the right coaching around him, you don't think, hey, Tom Brady, the GOAT. But he benefited. He benefited from the coaching around him. Bill Belichick, even though Tom Brady is the primary reason, Bill Belichick was really coaching those defenses well. You think about his offense coordinators, and I'm not talking about the O'Brien dude. I mean, that dude there, I can't even understand how he continues to get jobs. That's one of the reasons why I don't want Bill Belichick here, because you mess around and bring Bill Belichick here, man, and he want to bring him with him. Oh no, Josh McDaniels, man, Josh McDaniels. He's a jerk for a head coach, but he's a great offensive coordinator. So it would be the only way that I would want him here. Bill Belichick here. Uh-oh, Jared Jones is back. Jared Jones says, guess what I'm going to be for Halloween? If you guessed, you are correct. Yeah, we know exactly who you are. Jerry wanted, he wanted Lynch. Guess where Lynch is? And Lynch ain't even on the bench. Lynch ain't even on the bench. He wanted Johnny Manziel. Look at what Johnny Manziel is not even on the bench. Johnny Manziel is not even on the bench. Nope. Dak Prescott was the perfect pick for him. Every quarterback Jerry wanted is out of the league, but he's a football guy. Make it make sense. And the one guy he didn't want, quote unquote, is the very guy that he said he wants to be here for the remainder of his career, paid him $60 million a year. Frederick says Wade Wilson worked him out at MSU before the Senior Bowl. Yeah, Wade Wilson, man, I think he's kind of like a quarterback guru. True, it was an open container found by law enforcement. Yep. Dak does better when he runs out of the pocket. Yep. I don't understand why they're not doing more rolling out with him, even if they're not running him. He throws really well on the run. It forces linebackers to run to Dak, opening up the field. I'm agreeing with you. That's great insight. ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr. listed Prescott as a second-round pick last month. The Bleacher Report, Matt Miller, raved about the quarterback's rise up the draft boards after the combine. DUI caused his drop. Y'all have to help me out because I thought my memory was right. Dak Prescott is not even supposed to be on the Dallas Cowboys team. He actually fell into their laps. And in actuality, Dak is playing like he probably should have been. He should have been drafted probably second round, late first. Should have been. He's proven to be better than Deshaun Watson. Tony Simmons says, how does Burrow look without his number 2 weapon? How does Philly look without A.J. Brown in the lineup? We need a number 2. And I'll tell you this, and if we're not going to get him, we better start treating Tolbert like a number 2. We better start calling plays for Tolbert. I showed it this morning, Simmons. I showed it this morning, Tony Simmons. I showed in these tight window throws, Jalen Tolbert is the one who has been the most successful. Dak needs a steady and consistent run game. I mean, I'm telling us, again, Mike McCarthy, you're preaching to the choir. You don't need to be telling this to the fans. You don't need to be telling this to the press. You need to do this. Schemes. Yes. Burrow is having a great year. No, he's not. Paxton Lynch. Yep. Manziel was 2014, and we took Fredericks. We wanted Manziel. That's the point they're making. They're not saying that we chose Dak over him. Didn't win, just with chasing the lineup. Same for us. If you're talking about statistically, Dak Prescott is actually not having a bad year statistically. I mean, literally, he's 3rd in passing, 10th in touchdowns. He's not really having a bad statistical year. The turnovers, they're hurting him. But I would even dare say the turnovers are not the reason why this team is losing. It's not the turnovers. It's aiding in the losing. But it's not the reason this team is losing. The reason why this team is losing is because there seems to be something going on with the owner and the coach. There's something going on. Which running back should I draft, Ashton or Genty? You know what? We'll see when we get there. We'll talk about that more too at the end of the year. I watched that draft that year and was hoping they got that. I'm telling us, we do not understand. We have allowed the media to make us think that Dak is worse than he is. I've watched some of Burrow's games, and I understand what you're saying, DFW. Hold on a second. Now let me hit you with something, because I hear where you are. And we're not doubting Joe Burrow, because I like Joe Burrow. I knew Joe Burrow was going to be good when he also came to the pros. I mean, it didn't take a rocket scientist to realize. I mean, we all saw him in college. I mean, literally, Joe Burrow was killing it down there at LSU. And did some things, beat some teams that no one expected him to win. And he's been great in the NFL. Last 2 years, he's been injury-ridden, some other things. But I want to show you one thing that you got to pay attention to. Hold on a second. All right, this is what I want to look at here. And I'm going to put this up on the screen for you to look at. Maybe I'm wrong here. Okay. Now I'm going to show you, DFW. I'm going to use I'm going to use what you said against you. You said Burrow is having a great year. And yes, you're wrong. I've watched the games. I'm not watching all of them, but I've watched Burrow play. You said he's having a great year, and I'm not going to argue with you statistically because Dak Prescott is not having a bad year statistically. So I'm going to ask y'all, correct me if I'm wrong, who has the better weapons, the Dallas Cowboys or the Cincinnati Bengals? Who has the better weapons? You help me out now. You saying all this, DFW. Now you going to help me. You going to help me. We talk facts over here. I need you to help me out. Who has the better weapons, the Cincinnati Bengals or the Dallas Cowboys? You help me out. You help me out. I'm going where I'm going is right now. I'm trying to let's see, go to the team here. Oh, they got it. Okay, here we go. I could be wrong on this. I mean, I don't know. I just could be wrong on this. So I'm just going to help. I'm going to get you to help me answer this. Let's see here. Okay. Since we talking about Joe Burrow, y'all help me out in here now. I could be wrong on this. Okay. So the Cincinnati Bengals, he said Joe Burrow was having a great season. I'm not going to debate you. I'm just going to ask you. Who has the better weapons? Who has the better weapons? Who are you taking? Wide receiver. You taking Jamar Chase or CeeDee Lamb? You tell me who you're taking. I'm biased towards the Cowboys, but there are some people who would tell you Jamar Chase, my son, would tell you Jamar Chase is better than CeeDee Lamb. But let's just say Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb is a wash, right? Who got the better weapons? Let's see here. So who you taking? Wide receiver, 2 and 3. Who you taking? Are you taking Andre Lascivas, I guess that's what his name is, and T. Higgins over Jalen Tolbert and Jalen Brooks? Who you taking? And we can even put Brandon Cooks in there. Who you taking? Who you taking at tight end? Drew Sample or Ferguson? Who you taking? Their offensive line. I'm just asking. I don't know a lot about their offensive line. Who are you taking? Are you taking their offensive line or the Dallas Cowboys at offensive line? Are you taking at halfback? Are you taking Zach Moss or are you taking Rico Dowdle? Who are you taking? Defensive, offensively. Who would you say has the better team? Is it Dak Prescott? Is it Dak Prescott or Joe Burrow? Who would you say? Because I could tell you without doing hardly any research, you're saying that Joe Burrow is having a fantastic year, but this is the one stat I want to hit you with where none of the other ones matter, because this is the one that they're judging Dak Prescott on. They're judging Dak Prescott on this one and this one alone. You're telling me that Joe Burrow is having a great season, and let me feast your eyes on Exhibit A. What's his record? What's his record? He's having a great season. What's his record? Dak Prescott is not having, in particular, a great season. He has a worse team than Joe Burrow. A worse team. And you're telling me the Cowboys are 3-4 and the Bengals are 3-5? I'm going to hit you with what you hit us with. I also think Joe Burrow is a little bit overhyped too. I think Joe Burrow is way overhyped. Joe Burrow comes in, goes to the Super Bowl, beat Kansas City Chiefs a couple of times. Yeah, looked really well. But what has he done for me lately? Joe Burrow just hasn't looked good the last 2 seasons. He hasn't. And regardless of what the reasons are, it's amazing. Y'all see what we do? See, when we like a quarterback, we give him excuses. When we don't like a quarterback, he's the reason. He's terrible. But if I look at Joe Burrow and if I look at Dak Prescott, you tell me one is having a great season and the other one is having, he's average. He's he's a good quarterback, but this one's outstanding. Then now you got to explain to me why he's 3-5. I'm sorry, outstanding quarterbacks with teams with those kinds of weapons, they don't get to be 3-5. I'm just saying. Got to be careful sometimes in stuff that we're saying. We got to be careful because our biases will start creeping in. We're talking about Joe Burrow having this outstanding season. Is it really that outstanding? Because I bet you if we start talking about why it's not outstanding or why he's outstanding and they're 3-5, how much you bet? It's amazing to me, Colin Cowherd said, wait a minute, what's this? Y'all think I'm lying when I'm telling you? I digress just for a moment. But I'm going to show you something that's absolutely insane. I'm going to show you something. Y'all ready for this? Some of y'all probably saw this. Let me see. And they might not have it up here. Okay. I know who does have it. Let's go right here. Y'all ready for this? Let me show y'all what bias looks like. Let me show y'all what bias looks like. When someone says that a quarterback is great because they want him to, because let's be honest, they like him. He's a first-round draft pick. There's an expectation on a first-round draft pick. See, you know why they don't like Dak Prescott? They were all wrong about Dak Prescott. In particular, this man right here. Look at the headline. Colin Cowherd said he feels sorry for Joe Burrow. People, he feels bad for Joe Burrow. Why? Why do you feel bad for him? Why do you feel bad for him? He's got great players on his team. Why do you feel bad for him? Because he's not winning and because he's supposed to be winning and partially because I said Joe Burrow is all of that in a bag of chips and because he's not living up to what I said about him. I said that he's great, but he's 3-5. It's everyone else's fault around Joe Burrow and not his. Do you hear what I'm telling you? And this same dude will sit up here and degrade Dak Prescott. And he ain't feeling sorry for Dak Prescott. He's not talking about the lack of a running game. He's not talking about the crazy owner. He's not talking about the lack of an offensive line. He's not talking about a lack of weapons on the outside. He's not talking about the defense that has been totally just shattered because of injuries. He don't talk about those things. Oh, wait, he lies all the time. Oh, the Cowboys can't get anybody because Dak Prescott handicapped him with his contract. Well, why aren't the Cincinnati Bengals handicapped with their contract? The Philadelphia Eagles, they're not handicapped with their contract. And you can go down the line. Why did the Detroit Lions? How are they accumulating all these players and they're using the same salary cap and signing more players to bigger deals? Oh, I forgot though, it's Joe Burrow. See, we don't use language like great when we talk about Dak Prescott because for whatever reason, see, these pundits, you know what Colin Cowherd said about Dak Prescott? He'll never be more than a backup. Colin Cowherd said that. So watch this. My biases go toward my opinions. And so when my opinion is one thing about you, and then when you're not doing what my bias is, what I said you were going to do according to my opinion, see, I make all the excuses for you. But when my opinion of you, when you supersede my opinion of you, when I say you were going to be nothing but a draft, you were going to be nothing but a backup, and you now have become second team All-Pro, runner-up MVP, offensive player. Offensive rookie player of the year. Dak Prescott, with all of these accolades, has been to 7 playoff games. He's 2-5, but according to Colin Cowherd, he shouldn't even be 2-5. You see how we talk out of both sides of our mouth? He's not that good, but he should be better than 2-5. Make it make sense. This is what we do. I notice you're not saying Dak Prescott is having a great year. I notice you're not saying that. You're saying Joe Burrow is having a great year, but why is it not translating onto the wins and losses? You got to make it make sense, DFW. You got to make it make sense. You don't get to make the excuses because the quarterback who you want to be great, he's great, but it's everybody around him. But Dak Prescott, he's actually not great. He's average, and he's the reason why. You don't get it both ways. You don't get it both ways. I digress. What you say, Tony Simmons? Say it again. Better scheme and better supporting cast. Who's really doing better? Joe Burrow or Dak Prescott? Because I'm going to tell you Dak Prescott. If Dak Prescott is 3-4 with his team and Joe Burrow is 3-5 with his team, you can't tell me he's great. You can't tell me he's great. What is he doing then? What's the breakdown? What's the breakdown? Oh, I know we're going to give a million excuses for Joe Burrow in the breakdown, aren't we? We're going to give a million excuses. Gee, I told you, it's 2 old men fighting. No doubt. I think we're watching the coach and the owner. They got something going on. Mike, just step up and throw caution to the wind. Stop being so scary. What can Jerry do? Fire you? He said he won't, so call plays like crazy. Because you can't be fired. You don't have a contract. Facts. Pat Mahomes leading interceptions. But because his team has a great supporting cast. You see the difference between the great quarterback? Oh, wait a minute. Why is Pat Mahomes great? Okay, he's good. He's better than good. He is great. He's been to Super Bowls, won Super Bowls. But what's making him still be great this year? He's playing below average. But does anybody dare say Pat Mahomes is still not great? Does anyone dare say he's not still top 10? They will not do it. His supporting cast. He's 7-0 because of his supporting cast. That's why. Burrow isn't the issue. It's Dak and the lack of weapons and the concept. But we're not going to give Dak that. Because, see, he's not great. He's not great in people's eyes. See, Joe Burrow is great. And so with Joe Burrow, it's everybody else's fault. But when you're not great, it's your fault. Burrow, Jerry Jones said, people like to blame Mike McCarthy, but he has the highest winning record of any head coach in Cowboys history. The only thing that changed this year is the DC. Mike Zimmer isn't working out. You know what? I give you his win percentage. And I've said this in some earlier videos. Mike McCarthy is doing something that no other coach has done. He's won 12. He's went 12 wins, 3 straight seasons. But where I think Mike McCarthy's problem falls in is, once again, it's the playoff success. And even though we're realizing that Jerry Jones, and that's why I said when I talked about Mike McCarthy before, We're talking out of both sides of our mouth, even with Mike McCarthy, because that's why I'm asking the question. Who is the we that Mike McCarthy is talking about? Because Mike McCarthy is talking like somebody is holding him back from calling plays. Who is it? You're talking to we, and we know everything you need to be doing because we're listening. We're watching it. But Mike is talking like it's somebody stopping him. Who is the we? Who are you trying to convince? And so Jerry goes on to say, oh yeah, Mike Zimmer. But that's not the only thing that transpired. The Dallas Cowboys did not re-sign some players. They did not re-sign some players. And so you're talking about the Stephon Gilmores, some of the guys on the defensive line they didn't re-sign. Some of those things are coming back to haunt us. I mean, we basically decided to go all young this year. Gee, none of these quarterbacks are any better stats-wise than Dak. That's why I said we're talking about having a great year. What are we talking about? Are we talking about wins or stats? Because if we're talking about stats, DFW, I'm with you. Joe Burrow's having a fantastic year. We're talking about wins. Is he really having a fantastic year? Colin Cowherd is talking about he's feeling sorry for Joe Burrow. Why don't you feel sorry for Dak Prescott? I love how you said that, Nisi. I'm with you. The Bengals have better weapons. You tell me who you're taking, DFW. I'm taking that Cincinnati weapons. I'm taking them over what Dak Prescott playing with presently. And if there's anybody playing great that nobody wants to acknowledge, what Dak Prescott is pulling off with this team is absolutely criminal. It's criminal what Dak Prescott is pulling off. We're 3-4 right now. Let's see. Detroit Lions game. New Orleans Saints game. The other two games, we were one drive away from being 5-2. We got behind early. We came back late. If we know how to do situational football, the Cowboys might win those games. Revelation said all y'all Jerry made an offer to Dak that he could not refuse. Man, he went above. He went 60 mil. All Dak got right now is CD. Don't even have his coach. Bengals O-line still trash, but they got better wide receivers. Also, Bengals defense stinks. But our weapons are hurt on defense. But they're still better than Dallas. What about the coaching? Are you going to put that in the equation? Because the coaching matters too. It's amazing. He's great even though his O-line is trash. Is our O-line trash? They got better wide receivers. The Bengals defense stinks. Does ours stink? We're dead last in stopping the run. I mean, what are you talking about? Joe Burrow is great. Everyone feels sorry for him because of what's not around him. But Dak Prescott, he's good. What Dak Prescott is pulling off is criminal. He robbing games. We shouldn't be 3-4. We should be New York Giants on team we probably should have beaten. Better scheme, better supporting pass. Better supporting cast all day long, DFW. Base is a pure one. Chase, let's see here. Does Zimmer having Coach Cousins give us an advantage? Spider-Man. Y'all don't understand something. Zimmer ain't got the horses. That's what's hurting Zimmer. Zimmer's defenses in Minnesota, them things were stout, man. He ain't got the horses. He's still doing, to me, he's overachieving. You missing Michael Parsons, D-Law, Deron Bland? Man, come on. This dude is overachieving. This defense is giving up 100 points to put Burrow in that situation. Watch this. Let's see. DFW, Ferg. You taking Ferguson. Dallas O-line. I'm not taking it. But I see what you're saying. Without our injuries, we have a better team. No doubt. I think even with injuries, you got a better team. And if Burrow is who you say he is, you have a better team even with your injuries, because Burrow is supposed to be better than Dak Prescott by all accounts. And you got to realize Burrow wasn't healthy and got ranked higher than Dak Prescott according to what? What are you going by? You can't be going by statistics, because Dak absolutely destroyed him with statistics and wins. Which one is it? Which one is it? And I'll tell you the best statistic that you have. Your availability is your best ability. And Dak Prescott is destroying Joe Burrow in that over the last 2 years. Dak be like, I may look like a fool, but I'm damn sure not stupid. I'm sorry. 80 mil to just sign my name. Boy, please. Man, I'm telling you. It's not about liking, but Burrow is much better than Dak. Is he? Well, show me then. You telling me, but show me. You're telling me, but show me. Why is he 3-5? Then he should be able to do way more with less than Dak Prescott. Show me, DFW. Don't tell me. He 3-5. Don't give me excuses. We're not giving him to Dak. We're not giving Dak any slack in the media. You talking about Dak? You talking about he's better than Dak? You got to show me where. Because lately he ain't been better than Dak. He has not been better than Dak. Addy, and they look at how far they get in the postseason, even if the defense carries them there. Now, Niecy, they're not going to look at how people perform around them, because no matter how people perform around them, it's all them. But when Dak Prescott, it's all him. When they lose, it's all him. Nobody looks at how the fact that the Cowboys couldn't stop the run against the Green Bay Packers. Nobody looks at that stuff. No, Dak played on defense too. It's amazing how many of these fans allow themselves to be moved by the media. I'm telling you, DFW, you telling me, but you're not showing me. Our team, the start of the season is way better. The Bengals, we're destroyed with injuries. So what do you call the Dallas Cowboys? What do you call the Dallas Cowboys? Your team is better, even injured. Because you're saying it, and you're not answering your own question. If your quarterback is better, why are you not better than 3-5? I bet you if you ask Colin Cowherd, I bet you would tell us that Joe Burrow is better than Lamar Jackson. But Lamar Jackson is 5-2, and you're a better quarterback, and you're 3-5. Make it make sense. He felt bad for Burrow because Burrow got that ticket to ride. I'm telling us, man, it's a difference. You go with your biases. Bengals is the worst ran organization in the league. I bet you everyone will be arguing with you that the Dallas Cowboys is, because if they are not, why is Jerry Jones in the news? And I don't even know who your owner is. It's a team sport. I never said Dak is average. Talent-wise, he can't touch Burrow. What? No. Because you're defeating your own argument. If he can't touch Dak talent-wise, then why is Dak 3-4 with less talent and he's 3-5 with way more talent? You didn't say he's a little bit better. You said he can't be touched. When I hear someone can't be touched, I'm expecting Patrick Mahomes results. Tony said it's okay when they do it, but it's a problem when we do it. Can't finesse me. Nope. Kyle Rover told America about the Burrows of America. Mike Zimmer hired a Fred for DC. We is that power elite called Jerry Jones. I'm confused at who he's talking about. Who does he keep talking about in the weeds? DFW, what do you mean about better talent? Can Burrow throw further? Is it accuracy? Do he run better? I see no lead. You know the only thing I see about Joe Burrow that's better than Dak Prescott? He was drafted number 1. He was drafted in the first round. Dak was drafted in the 4th round. In the top 100, they voted a few quarterbacks higher than Dak because of popularity. Robert says if Micah and Trayvon can get on the field and get from behind their mics, they don't seem to be team players. Well, Trayvon's not playing, looks like, this week. We'll see what the report says. Amen, Maurice. Preach. I'm telling this, DFW. This is my problem. I've said Dak is a very good quarterback, but he is limited. So what's Joe Burrow? I'd actually argue with you. You can't put Joe Burrow with Lamar Jackson. I mean, not talent-wise. Not if we're talking about talent. You can't put him with Lamar Jackson. You can't. You can't put him with Lamar Jackson. Not talent-wise. I would actually say, talent-wise, Lamar Jackson is the most talented quarterback in the league. But if we're talking about playing quarterback, I'm actually taking Dak Prescott over Lamar Jackson playing quarterback. Because if you give me weapons with Dak Prescott not running, I'll beat you with Lamar Jackson with weapons and running. I'll beat you. I'll beat you every time. Hey, don't Moles Burrow. Burrow and Trevor Lawrence are number 1 picks. They have the same team as Dak. What is their excuse? You know what their excuse is? They get all the excuses. Because the people who talk about them, they said they were going to be this. They said they were going to be that Jay Recruiter. And when they don't live up to it, they feel sorry for them. And it's everyone else's fault and not theirs. I'm actually laughing. There is not one quarterback. And we're talking about playing quarterback. There is not any quarterback that gets to say that a quarterback is untouchable except for Patrick Mahomes. The rest of them, I don't give any of them that. I don't give any of them that. Hold on a second. Let me look at something. Got my spidey senses tingling again. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm looking at something here. I was trying to see, like, how are these quarterbacks? I was trying to look at how these quarterbacks are ranked. And it's strange to me that when you start talking about these quarterback rankings, it all boils down to what are you using for the quarterback rankings? What are you using? Because if you're saying that Joe Burrow is this elite talent, you do not get the excuses. You do not get those excuses that he is actually, that you are giving him. That's why I was trying to look at some of these rankings here. Like, what do they have these guys ranked? So they have Joe Burrow ranked at number 6. I'm looking at. They have him ranked at number 6. And so when you look at how they rank, and what I'm looking at here in this quarterback ranking is they have all of these different graphs that they're using. And the thing that's skewed about a lot of these, so Joe Burrow is ranked number 6. Kyler Murray is ranked number 8. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Geno Smith is ranked number 9. Who's taking Geno Smith over Dak Prescott? Now, in this ranking, now I find this to be strange. Okay, hold on. Let me show y'all this. I don't know if you've ever seen this before. This is very interesting. Now, the people who are ranking this, the one thing they are not doing is they are definitely not saying what DFW is saying. DFW is saying that, Joe Burrow is untouchable as it applies to Dak Prescott. So they gave him a 93.2 grade. And they say playmaking, precision passer who knows more ball than the coaches. Okay. Now notice what they said. Opening line. Durability is not a factor in these rankings. So Joe Burrow won't take a hit. You see why they had to take that out? Your best ability is availability. Your best ability is availability. And so they're talking about all of these different things. Let's see. So they said right here, top-tier defensive coordinators can still get the better of Burrow, as at times he'll make up his mind on what the defense is doing before the snap and won't adjust after it. When Burrow does get fooled, though, it doesn't lead to more turnover-worthy plays. It leads to sacks. He's known for his calm under pressure, but Burrow is all too willing to throw himself into chaotic situations because he has the confidence that he can flip those into big plays. He does more often than not, but the trade-off is an inflated sack total that can't be fully blamed on his offensive line. He can rise if Burrow looks healthy to start the 24 season. Okay, it looks like they still got the stats, it looks like, though. I'm thinking this is still this year's stats. They must be still the stats. And so it's talking about how he can rise and stuff like that. But look who they got at number 7. None other than Matthew Stafford. They got number 8, Kyler Murray. They got number 9, Geno Smith. They got number 10, Dak Prescott. He has an advanced degree in quarterbacking, but he's too eager to show it off. Look at this. Dak Prescott is the connoisseur's quarterback. This is funny. A refined palate is required to enjoy his sophisticated approach to playing the position, to appreciate his orchestration of the Cowboys' offense at the line of scrimmage, and the subtle pocket navigation that allows him to avoid pressure and carve out space to make daring throws. All the ball knowers appreciate Prescott's game. At least that's what the football hipsters like me to say to explain away his inability to turn away all that highbrow quarterback play into any postseason success. And this is Dak Prescott's knock. It's his postseason success. Because other than that, they wouldn't actually be calling him. They wouldn't actually be Dak Prescott. If he had postseason success, Dak Prescott wouldn't even be at number 10. I promise you, Dak Prescott would actually probably be in the top 3 because statistically and win percentage wise, there is no one better over the last 3 seasons, including Joe Burrow, than Patrick Mahomes. That's it. He's the only one that's holding a candle to Dak Prescott in the last 3 seasons, other than the postseason. There's been nobody better. There's been nobody better. And that's why you can't tell me that Joe Burrow can't be touched by Dak Prescott, because there's been nobody better statistically. There's been nobody better win percentage-wise. There's been nobody better than Dak Prescott, and all the pundits know it. There's been nobody better than him other than Patrick Mahomes. And when you look at what Patrick Mahomes has had over the last 3 seasons, there's a reason why he's better. He's been to these Super Bowls and he's winning these games. He's got Andy Reid, the best coach, the best play caller, the best offensive coordinator in one that you could have, very good with player personnel, understands situational football. He has Steve Spagnuolo, the best defensive play caller arguably in the league. They put players around him. They put a defense with him. They've given him a running game. There's a reason why Patrick Mahomes has been so successful. Tell me one player that Dak Prescott has had like Tyreek Hill. Name him. Name the wide receiver that he's had like that. Name the tight end that he's had close to Travis Kelce. Name it. Name it. You can't. No one can name it. When you look at what those quarterbacks have versus what Dak Prescott has played with his entire season, his entire career, what do we have? 3 different offensive coordinators? Hasn't had any competent coaching around him, really? Who's been his head coaches? Jason Garrett's not even in football no more. He's not even in football no more. We got Mike McCarthy. We got him off the couch. Mike McCarthy is having the same problems now he had with the Green Bay Packers when they fired him. Who have we brought in young and innovative? What have we done for Dak Prescott? What have we literally done for Dak Prescott? What have we done? The only thing we've done with Dak Prescott is we have put him in a situation to where he is supposed to be doing everything for us. Let me read Chris. Let me read Chris DeWalt. Man, appreciate you with that $19.99 super chat. Appreciate you. He said, well, hey, what's up, Eugene? He said, I think Jerry Jones should just have his son be part GM and have Troy Aikman or someone else handle the football aspect. Chris, let me give you the hand clap. Appreciate you again for that super chat, my brother. Let me tell you something. Someone said something today and I commented on it. And I thought it was very ironic. There's a song by Snoop Dogg called Doggy Dog World. Y'all remember that song? I'd play it, but I don't want to get copyrighted. But that song reminds me so much of Jerry Jones. This is Jerry Jones' world. We mentioned this last week. It's Jerry Jones' world. It is. It's his world. He's doing whatever he wants to do. And if I was a coach that was going to come to the Dallas Cowboys, a Troy Aikman, and I really think, and I think you're on to something, Chris. Let me pull you back up here. I think you on to something, Chris. I believe the Cowboys need to do what they did before. You need to put someone in that position that is not afraid to challenge Jerry Jones. And Jimmy Johnson was not afraid to challenge Jerry Jones. He had so much cachet, Chris. He had so much cachet that even the coaching staff was with him to go against Jerry Jones. The players rode with him to go against Jerry Jones. Those players were furious with that Barry Switzer pick. They were furious when he fired him. See, I realized something about Jerry Jones, Chris. It couldn't be Jerry's world with Jimmy in it, because the reality is it was Jimmy's world. It was Jimmy's world. Everybody was looking at Jimmy. Jimmy was making decisions. Jimmy was bringing in these offensive and defensive gurus, surrounding this team with great position coaches. He was surrounding this team, and Jerry, give him credit. Jerry also went in, and I think it put in some pieces. I'm wondering who was the one who said let's get Charles Haley. Who said to get Deion Sanders? Whatever the case may be. And I have a feeling Jerry Jones had a lot to do with that Herschel Walker trade. But Jimmy was that coach that he needed. Somebody who could keep him at bay with the football decisions. And so you talk about Troy Aikman. I believe that Troy Aikman would be great for this team. But the only way that somebody like Troy Aikman should do it is that they make Jerry Jones sign a contract, because Jimmy had a verbal agreement with him. It wasn't a contract, but it was a verbal agreement. Jimmy has stated as much. You handle the upstairs, and I handle everything on the field. Jerry Jones needs that to be put in writing. Jerry Jones needs that in writing. He doesn't need that to where it's a verbal agreement. He needs it in writing. And it needs to be in writing that if you go back on this agreement, not only do I get to walk away from this job, not only are you going to pay me my full salary, but you're also going to pay me an additional 2 years on that salary. That's what the agreement needs to be put in place, whoever comes and coaches for the Dallas Cowboys. They have to. You're going to have to put those things in there. You got to put it in there. I got to be able to handle all the football decisions. I got to be able to have some say-so in the draft. I got to be able to have some say-so in free agency, some say-so in the trading process. Bill Parcells complained about it. If I'm going to cook the food, I need to be able to buy the groceries. And that's one of the reasons why I don't think Troy Aikman would touch it with a 10-foot pole. I don't think they'd touch it. I don't think he'd touch it, because who knows Jerry Jones better than Troy Aikman? I bet you Troy Aikman's still mad about the fact that they got robbed out of an additional probably 2 or 3 Super Bowls, because rather than keeping Jimmy Johnson and becoming an absolute historical dynasty like Tom Brady and Bill Belichick with the New England Patriots, Jerry Jones chose his ego over an absolutely unconquerable dynasty. It's insane when you think about it. Gregory, I've said it before. Dak Prescott gets 1 ring, the whole narrative changes. The whole narrative changes. Dak Prescott will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He gets 1 ring. You know why? Because statistically, he's already on the trajectory. He's already on the trajectory. He just needs a ring. He just needs a ring. This is why Dak gets hate, because Dak's supporter, he's a Hall of Fame talent, and he's not. Well, his numbers speak otherwise. His win percentage speaks otherwise. Do you know Dak Prescott is better than Peyton Manning was in his first 9 seasons? People don't understand these things historically. We've been spoiled by some of these things that we watch. Rookie quarterbacks going to the Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo going to the Super Bowl. We've been spoiled by these things. But when you look at how some of these guys who won Super Bowls, Tom Brady spoiled us. But when you look at some of these guys who've won Super Bowls, it's actually more like the Matthew Staffords of the world. It took them years to win those Super Bowls. Peyton Manning, it took him years. John Elway, Hall of Famer, took him years to win those Super Bowls. Dan Marino went to 1, never went back. We don't understand these things. We've been spoiled by this new free agency phenomenon that's been happening. Get the young quarterback, get your rookie quarterback, put players around him and hope you can go to the Super Bowl. Russell Wilson is not the norm. It's the anomaly. But we make those things into the norm. But the reality is quarterbacks in the past had to grind it out. You see how quiet so-called pundit on Trevor Lawrence? Carl, I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I said, man, he is a generational talent. Man, he ain't been generational nothing. When all this falls apart and because of Jerry Jones and Dax moves on to a team with a coach and a team with weapons, don't be sad when that team rises above. I'm going to tell you something. Dak Prescott is pretty smart. Dak Prescott will still be 35 years old when this contract is up. And I have a feeling he won't play for the Cowboys. But if you keep yourself in shape and Dak Prescott is starting to focus on his body, Dak Prescott's going to be playing at 35. And I won't be surprised he goes to a team and win a Super Bowl. I will not be surprised. So now we're coming up with injuries, already giving up on the season. Dang, Jerry brainwashed them to believe that they're going all in next season and they play alone. If it's me, I'm telling you, Tony, I don't give up on this season. I think the Cowboys can still and will still get in the playoffs. Now, if they lose to the Atlanta Falcons, I'm going to start changing my tune a little bit. I'm going to start changing my tune. But this Atlanta Falcons team is a winnable game. It's a winnable game. If Dak wins a Super Bowl, which he will, he is a lock for the Hall of Fame. He has the numbers to justify it. Folks don't understand. You don't get the numbers that Dak Prescott gets by accident. Even though everybody makes excuses for those numbers, I find it to be strange that their favorite quarterbacks don't have those numbers if they're so easy to get. Why don't their quarterbacks, the ones they're talking about, why don't they have those numbers? Why don't they have them? Carl said, didn't our backup beat him, Burrow? What? Better believe he did. Cooper Rush beat him. He beat him. And no meddling owner. Yes, Tony Simmons. Again, Chris, great question. Great comment. And appreciate that super chat once again. DFW says, living in fantasy land, my guy, I'm out. Dak has had great talent since rookie year, and the NFC is much harder than the AFC. Dak supporters go way over, and haters say he stinks. Well, appreciate your comments. Hope you come back, man. We always like to chop it up talking Cowboy facts, but I can say the same thing about Joe Burrow. He's been surrounded by weapons. That man had Joe Mixon on his team. That man's had Jamar Chase, got Jamar Chase on his team, got T. Higgins on his team. That dude has been surrounded by talent. Way better coaching than the Dallas Cowboys. What does he have to show for it? Super Bowl appearance? Hadn't won it. Agreed. And when he breaches the contract, $1.5 million per breach. I'm telling you, Nisi, Jerry needs to be put up on the contract if he's going to get a Super Bowl winning coach. And I got a feeling this is why Bill Belichick won't come here. Bill Belichick ain't putting up with this mess that Mike McCarthy doing. I don't care how good their relationship is. Jerry wants to be the star. Can't stand when people do that. Yep, Roberta, yep. I hate to say it, but he will get his ring, but not in Dallas. Woo, I hope not. I hope not. Did this guy just say Dak was better than Dak in his first 9 seasons? Is beyond delusional. No, you talking about Peyton Manning? Dak and Peyton Manning? Have you not already seen those comparisons? I'm not talking delusion. The experts have talked about this. If you look at them in their first 9 seasons, it's uncanny how Peyton Manning and Dak Prescott, they look similar. They look similar. And Peyton Manning, do you not realize Peyton Manning was not winning Super Bowls in his first 9 seasons? I don't even know. I'm going to tell y'all something. I don't even know if Peyton Manning would make it in today's league because his record was not good enough the first 9 seasons. His playoff record was not good enough the first 9 seasons. This social media age probably would have destroyed him. DFW. Yeah, Peyton, I said it. Go look at it. Dak would have 3 or 4 rings with the Niners. I'm telling y'all, I bet you Kyle Shanahan was salivating. If Dak Prescott would have hit that free agency market, there is no way Brock Purdy gets another contract. Dak Prescott would have been with the 49ers next year. There is no doubt in my mind. There is no doubt in my mind. I'm gonna do some research on that DFW. I want you to come back and look. I want you to do your own research on Peyton Manning in his first 9 seasons compared to Dak Prescott. His first 9 seasons. You go look at those. And you'll find out that Peyton Manning was running into a juggernaut named Tom Brady. Named Thomas Edward Brady. He was running into a juggernaut. And he couldn't get past him. He could not get past that juggernaut. He couldn't. He couldn't do it. He could not do it simply because the New England Patriots were just that dominant. They were just that dominant. And people don't give the Dallas Cowboys, they don't understand something. The Dallas Cowboys have not been running up against a quarterback. The San Francisco 49ers, we have to understand something. The San Francisco 49ers have to have one of the most cockiest, dominant coaches in the league. This dude is next level. Kyle Shanahan acts like he's a football player. I mean, this dude is next level, man. He's different. The 49ers, people are not giving them credit. They are an absolute juggernaut. I mean, they are. They are a juggernaut. It's crazy how good they are. It really is. It's crazy how good they are. And so when you think about what they've been running up against, it's been similar to what Tom Brady was running up against. I mean, what Peyton Manning was running up against in his first 8 seasons. He was running up against Tom Brady. You think about this. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Then I'm going to get out of here. I just think sometimes the problem with people is when you like who you like and you listen to the media, they paint a picture for you that's actually not true. And when you start looking at what's actually true, it is absolutely mind-blowing when you start seeing these things comparatively side by side. So I pulled this up from StatMuse. I'm just going to show you what it says. I mean, I can't do all the deep diving like I would like to, but I'm just going to show you what it says. Yeah, now, y'all remember? DFW said I was delusional. Y'all remember what he said? I may be delusional. I've been accused of being crazy a few times. I'm just going to show you what it says. You tell me what this says. Dak Prescott, passer rating through 8 seasons, 99.1, 29,493 yards, 202 touchdowns, 74 interceptions in 114 games in his first 8 seasons. Wait, hold on. I read that. I want you to see it. For y'all who can see it, I'm reading it for people who can't see it. And I'm reading it for people who can't see it. And you can look at it for people who can see it. Dak Prescott had a passer rating of 99.1, 29,493 yards, 202 touchdowns, 74 interceptions in 114 games in his first season. Now, according to DFW, I'm delusional. And Peyton Manning and Dak Prescott don't look similar in their first 8 seasons. I give you Exhibit A. Peyton Manning, passer rating, 93.5. Yards, 33,244 touchdowns, 130 interceptions, and 14 more games. That's a whole full season, so we understand why he has a few more yards. 128 games in his first 8 seasons. Dak Prescott missed the season. You're telling me that these numbers, you might not realize something. You might be delusional or deceived by the 33,000 and the 244 touchdowns, but you don't let that deceive you because Dak Prescott played less games, 14 less games. So you're looking at a difference in 14 games, but look at the passer rating. 99.1. 99.1. Now, I'm going to hit you with another one. Why I know what I'm talking about. Who are y'all taking? Y'all taking Tony Dungy? Or y'all taking Tony Dungy and his coaching staff? And the weapons that we know, Hall of Fame weapons that Peyton Manning had around him with the Indianapolis Colts. Who are we taking? Are we taking those teams that the Indianapolis Colts had around Peyton Manning, or are we taking the teams that the Dallas Cowboys have had around Dak Prescott? Y'all tell me who delusional. I'm just showing you what the stats say. I'm just showing you. This isn't rocket science. You can just know these things with just a little bit of research. I mean, it's not rocket science. I just wonder, in this social media age, would Peyton Manning even exist? Because the way he played, you think Dak Prescott had some bad years with interceptions? Let me see here if they show this. Y'all tell me. What do y'all think they would have did to Dak Prescott in his first season? Y'all tell me. Season number 1, what do you think they would have did to Dak Prescott? Peyton Manning, 28 interceptions. What do y'all think they do to Dak Prescott? I mean, we saw what they did to Dak Prescott, and he didn't even get that many. You look at his interceptions. 15, 23, 19. It wasn't until 2003 he starts to settle down. 10. Peyton Manning didn't start to settle down until he got further in his career. This new NFL, if you're not killing it in your first 5 seasons, they're either ready to throw you away, or if you're good, if you what they deem good, you're a number 1 draft pick, what do? They put players around you. See, Dak Prescott is getting the 4th round draft pick treatment. That's what he's getting. That's the part nobody wants to admit. And there have been some pundits who have admitted it. If Dak Prescott was playing on any other team, they would be singing "All Hail to Dak Prescott." They would be singing it. He didn't come from Arch Manning. I mean, he didn't come from the pedigree that Peyton Manning come from. Man, people were saying Peyton Manning was going to be Hall of Fame before he even touched the field. Stuff isn't rocket science, man. We fool ourselves. We fool ourselves in this stuff. We let the media tell us stuff. I'm telling us, this stuff it's not rocket science. And I don't care what anyone says. You got Tony Dungy? You got Tony Dungy as your coach? Man, please. Dak Prescott ain't played with a coach that was nowhere close. Nowhere close. Okay, let me show y'all something else. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? See, DFW, you don't understand something. See, I don't talk out the side of my neck. I talk facts. See, you talking delusional. You said I'm delusional, but I'm gonna show you. I'm not delusional. I'm showing you facts. You gonna accept them or you don't, but the facts are not gonna lie. The numbers are not gonna lie. You ready? Because see, you saying I'm delusional. I'm just doing. I didn't even pre-plan this. You brought it up. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna just show you this quick what you can do just by looking at Google. You ready? Because obviously you ain't looked at this before you started your argument. Let's see here. Peyton Manning, first season. Divisional round. One and done. One and done against Tennessee. Second season. Y'all do the counting. Second season. AFC wildcard game. One and done. Third season. AFC wildcard game. One and done. Second season. 1-0. 1-0. Fifth season. 1-0. Second season. 0-1. Seventh season. 1-0. Eighth season. 0-1. Ninth season. 0-1. Do you notice something here? Do y'all notice something? Can I help y'all with this trend? Y'all show me. Maybe I'm crazy. Y'all show me. Where does Peyton Manning get to the Super Bowl? Is it the first season, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth? We give him credit in the sixth. AFC Championship game, the seventh. Where we at, y'all? Seventh season, eighth season, ninth season, 10th season, 11th season. Y'all help me out. Are we going to give Dak Prescott to his 11th season? Nisi, you already said it. You don't think Dak Prescott going to get that ring here. Are we going to allow Dak Prescott's career to play out before we start judging his whole career? Because when Peyton Manning was playing, if he would have been playing during this era, I just wonder what we'd be saying about him. Just wonder what we'd be saying about him. Let me see something here. Through 8 seasons, I see 1, 2, 3 playoff wins. Let's go to the 9th season. Let's see. Wait a minute. I see 1, 2, 3, 4. I see 5, 6, 7. I only see in his first 9 seasons, I see 3 playoff wins. Am I still delusional? Am I still delusional, DFW? Am I still delusional? Because I'm showing you everything you need to see. His stats, when you look at him, through his first 8 seasons, he played more games, so they're basically on par stat-wise. I'm going to tell you this, whether you want to admit it or not, he had better weapons around him, a better defense around him, better coaching around him. He's doing all that, and he's still losing. He's still losing. And we're talking about, I said he ran up against the juggernaut. He didn't actually run up against the juggernaut all those times, did he? He got beat by Tennessee. He got beat by Miami. He got beat by the New York Jets. Look at this. He got beat by Kansas City. I mean, the New England Patriots. He got beat. Here it is again. The New England Patriots. Pittsburgh Steelers. What's the problem? Beat by Kansas City. What's the problem? I'm sorry, beat Kansas City. This is when things start to smooth out. But even then, he doesn't get to the Super Bowl. Y'all show me which season he gets to the Super Bowl. He's got one more win than Dak Prescott through his first 9 seasons in the NFL in the playoffs. One more win. One more. That's it. One more win. Where's the Super Bowls? Y'all tell me. Where's the Super Bowls? Y'all tell me where his Super Bowls are. Are we going to let Dak get to year number 13? DFW, you gonna give Dak Prescott to year 13? Because you're talking about a man's career who's not even finished. You gonna give him the 2013? Man, I don't have time. We're gonna pick up again. What time is it here? Okay, I think I could go to about 8:30. So we're gonna go 10 more minutes. You tell me, DFW. You tell me. Are we going to give Dak Prescott? Because you said I was delusional. I'm just wondering when you're going to take that back. I'm wondering when you're going to take that back. Nisi said it. I hate that he will not get that ring in Dallas. DFW, you said I'm delusional. You said he was better. You said this guy said Dak was better in his first 9 seasons. Well, his passer rating is better, isn't it? He has less interceptions, doesn't he? You wouldn't count that as better? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'll retract. How much better is Peyton Manning? He's got one more playoff win than Dak Prescott in his first 9 seasons with less, and Dak played 14 less games. Can you tell me how am I delusional again? Jay Recruiter, Dak would have 3 or 4 more rings. Okay, we read that. Roberta said, Steph Curry. Who's Dak's juggernaut? Who's Dak's juggernaut? Well, you tell me who's Dak's juggernaut. It's been the 49ers. The 49ers are dominating the NFC. Are you not watching? Kyle Shanahan is dominating the NFC. He's dominating it. He's dominating it with players. He's dominating it with play calling. He's dominating it by using the best ability of his players. Kyle Shanahan, I'm telling y'all know why Kyle Shanahan is trying to get a quarterback? You know why he's trying to get a quarterback? The same reason why Andy Reid got Pat Mahomes. There's a reason why when you think about Andy Reid, he moved on from Donovan McNabb because Donovan McNabb was good, but he knew that Michael Vick was elite talent. There's a reason why he had Alex Smith, and Alex Smith was actually winning for the Kansas City Chiefs. But what he's saying is, I need elite talent. I need a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. There's a reason. There's a reason. You need a quarterback to get over those juggernaut teams. The problem with the Dallas Cowboys, they got the quarterback. They won't put the team around the quarterback like these other teams are doing. They won't put the coach around the quarterback. It is a shame that Dak Prescott is literally the best player, including the coaching staff. He's the best player they have on the team. Peyton Manning, I'm sorry, he ran up against Tom Brady, but I gave him a little too much credit. He ran up against Tennessee. He lost. He ran up against Miami. He lost. He ran up against the New York Jets. He lost. He ran up against New England. New England again. He lost. He lost to Pittsburgh. He lost. He's got one more playoff win. You keep using these words like untouchable when the stats aren't agreeing with you, when the rankings aren't agreeing with you, the pundits aren't agreeing with you. You're using those stats and those words. I mean, you're using those words, but you're not using the stats. I showed you stats you can't argue with. I showed you stats. He's got one more playoff win. He's got one more playoff win. And Peyton Manning does not get to the Super Bowl until year 13. Are you going to give Dak to year 13? Because we're ready to throw Dak in the trash. We're ready to throw Dak in the trash. He's not as good and he's not this. Really? I'm telling us, the facts don't lie. Brady had the defense. Peyton's defense was not as good. Those first 3 Super Bowls, I'm telling you, Jay Recruiter, them first 3 Super Bowls Brady won, all defense. Those Super Bowls didn't become Brady's until the middle to end. Those first 3, Belichick was killing folks with defense. He's killing folks. He's absolutely killing them. I'm telling us, man, this stuff it's not rocket science. You would think if Jerry Jones regrets some decisions that he makes, why won't he sign other players? You got to question whether he does regret them. I mean, does he really regret them? DFW said the team has been stacked with. No, it has not. Problem is we have our star players is hurt and Diggs coming off an injury. That takes time. So you said we're stacked with players, right? I'm going to call cap on that. Everybody keeps saying they're stacked. So you tell me. So we got 2 Super Bowl era teams for the Dallas Cowboys. We got 2 blueprints we can use, DFW. I'm going to show you that you're letting the media blind you. So you tell me, and I'm just going to go to the Dallas Cowboys of Troy Aikman. You tell me any player that Dak Prescott that's played with, you tell me any player that he's played with that you would pick over any player from the 92, 93, 94 Cowboys. You tell me. Tell me. Would you take any one of the 88s, since those 92, 93, 94, 95 Cowboys. Would you take any one of those 88s over Michael Irvin? I'm waiting because I already know the answer. I'm just saying this rhetorically. Who you going to take? Who are you going to take? Would you take anybody that Dak Prescott has played with on the offensive line, including Tyron Smith? Would you take them over the offensive line that Troy Aikman played with? I bet you'll be the only one to say it. There's not a person who watched those 92, 93, 94, 95 Cowboys who would dare take anybody the Dallas Cowboys had currently with Dak Prescott, currently with Tony, or in the past with Tony Romo. There's not one of those players they would take. Mark Schlereth said it best. Said he was playing for the Washington Redskins. Said he looked over at the Dallas Cowboys team. He said their starting team. He said we ain't got a player on the team. Not a one is better than their starters. You talking about delusional. I'm starting to question. What's the difference between when Peyton played and when Dak played? You tell me. Because Peyton played with way better players, way better coaching. I'm not with all this forget the 90s stuff. I'm not with that. We're talking about great players. They transcend generations. They transcend eras. They can play in any era. Peyton Manning, I believe, could have played in any era. I believe Dak Prescott could play in any era. They're those types of quarterbacks. You tell me, because you're saying that Dak Prescott has been stacked with talent. No, Troy Aikman was stacked with talent. Dak Prescott has had some talent in positions. But if I'm going to use the Super Bowl blueprint of when the Dallas Cowboys won Super Bowls, you got to tell me when have we had Super Bowl caliber players? And then I'll push you even further. When have we had Super Bowl caliber coaching? Coaching matters. Coaching matters. It's Jason Garrett's fault that when Dak Prescott bought them back against the Green Bay Packers in his rookie year. I can remember it like yesterday. Dak Prescott looked over at Jason Garrett when they got that ball inside the 10. He looked over at Jason Garrett. He said, what should I do? Jason Garrett said, down the ball. Why? You got the Green Bay Packers on the ropes and reeling. Run the timeout. Jason Garrett had a problem with clock management too. Just like Mike McCarthy. It's not Dak Prescott's fault they lost that first game against Green Bay. Nobody's giving him credit for that. It's not Dak Prescott's fault they lost that they lost that game in his rookie season. That was coaching. Dak Prescott did everything he was supposed to do. You're talking about two different eras. No, I'm not. See, you don't understand something. Hall of Fame players transcend eras. And those 93, 94, 95 Cowboys, I'll put them up against any Super Bowl team in the last 30 years, and they will mop the floor with them. They'll mop the floor with any of these Super Bowl teams. Patrick Mahomes wouldn't have had a chance against those Dallas Cowboys. Tom Brady would have got the floor mopped against those Dallas Cowboys. Those Dallas Cowboys with Jimmy Johnson, especially that first 93, what was it, 92, 93, they mopping everybody. They mopping everybody. We're not talking about two different eras. When you are talking about great players and great teams, they transcend eras. Man, you obviously you wasn't around. You obviously wasn't around. Those teams, they mopping teams today. They mopping teams. And especially with these little cotton nail rules that they have, can't touch the quarterback, all of these different crazy rules. Man, them teams like that, they're mopping. Man, I'll even give you one better. The Buffalo Bills that played against the Dallas Cowboys, they mopping these teams. Man, they mopping these teams today. Man, I ain't got time. I'm just telling you, man, I talk facts, bro. I don't deal with all them opinions. Like Warren Sapp, because they had good weapons around them, because remember that, because I'm telling us, Peyton got the Super Bowl, and they let him go and brought in luck. They've had no luck since, pun intended. Niecy, are we going to give Dak Prescott 13 years? Peyton Manning didn't win his first Super Bowl, because I don't know, what are we talking about? Is he in a different era? He didn't win his first Super Bowl until year 13. And if you really start getting down to some brass taxes of that one he played in year 18, he ought to be embarrassed. He ought to be embarrassed. He got carried in that Super Bowl. That man was a shell of himself. I'm just glad that he made it out of that thing because he was a shell of himself. I'm telling us, we let people make us delusional. But I'm telling you what my eyes are telling me. DFW, just like the media keeps moving the goalpost. See, I show you stats. I show you what I'm telling you is right. I'm telling you, I'm not making this stuff up. Mahomes is elite with an elite coach. I don't think Dallas has had an elite coach since Jimmy. Name me the coach that you would take over Andy Reid. Name me any coach that Dak Prescott has played for that's even in the caliber of Andy Reid. Man, you look at these coaches that Dak Prescott has played for. Man, give me a break. Jason Garrett, he's a rookie coach. Give me a break. We getting Mike McCarthy out the man. Come on, give me a break. This is crazy work. Year 13, keep it going. I'm enjoying this. This is crazy work. Jerry Jones is Dak's juggernaut. I said it before. Dak isn't only playing against a team on the other side. He's playing against his own team. He's playing against Mike McCarthy. He's playing against Jerry Jones. He's playing against them. DFW, you're talking about what you call great teams. Those 2019 through 22 teams, if they would have been great, they would have won. They were not great. The Cowboys have had the same problem for a long time, and people won't admit it. We've had problems stopping the run, and we've had problems running the ball. And that's why we continuously get bounced out of the playoffs. Go back and look at our playoff games, minus that Green Bay game. And when you look at the Tampa Bay game, that was all Dak Prescott. He was flawless. I'll never understand how did they go from that Tampa Bay game to that San Francisco game the next week. I don't understand it. Go back and look at the running game in those games. Go back and look at them. These teams Dak has had were lopsided. No elite defenses. 90 Cowboys were good on both sides of the ball. Nisi, make it make sense. Folks, this is delusion. I've heard the media say this same stuff, and then they'll go on to tell you, then if those teams were elite, why were they not winning? Because if you got an elite team, you don't need an elite quarterback. Trent Dilfer won with the Baltimore Ravens. Miss me. You don't need no elite quarterback when you got a great team around him. You got an elite team? What do you need an elite quarterback for? You just need a guy that can hand the ball off and can make about 10 or 15 throws. That's all you need. Nate Newton said Dak is more an old school player than many of his teammates. That was a huge compliment coming from him. I said it this morning. Dak Prescott is the one player on this team that does not fit the characteristics of the owner. He's the one. Cowboys have lacked talent in the trenches. Trenches win in the playoffs. They've always been weak in the trenches with Dak Prescott. They've always been weak. And the one year that they could have went was Dak's rookie year. Did Dak lose that game? You're not looking at the tape. If you think Dak lost that game, you're not looking at the tape. I can't even believe in debating who's better, Peyton Manning or Dak. Well, you don't have to debate it. The stats are debating you. I said the first 9 seasons, and I think Dak is in the 9th season. So the first 8 seasons, you can't dispute it. No, it's not. It's not insane. I showed you. Did you see a Super Bowl in his first 8 seasons? You see a Super Bowl in his first 9, his first 10, his first 11, first 12? You're the one not being honest. I'm being honest. I'm telling you what the stats say. It's sad that Jerry Jones had a part in inventing the salary cap. I said it, Chris. A lot of people don't realize that. It was Jerry Jones. When he saw that TV money coming, he said salary cap. He's the architect. And Jerry has enough money, and he refuses to sign free agents. And it's the very way he won those Super Bowls. Makes no sense. Nisi said Gary was a nepotism hire. His daddy coached with Landry. You can't compare quarterback stats when they changed the defensive penalties in 2012. Yes, we can. We can definitely compare those. I'm sorry, but your argument is not correct. Because if we're not going to be able to do that, then your argument falls apart. No, we can compare these guys. Their first 8 seasons, they look pretty much the same. Yes, that San Francisco game made no sense after retiring Brady. Dak Prescott was flawless in that game. This dude, Kellen Moore, came back just like Mike McCarthy, like he bumped his head on a rock and forgot the whole game plan he did to the percents. He says, I'll compare the 90s team, but there was a handful of great teams. You can't keep players like that anymore because of the cap. You know why I'm going to call cap on what you said? Because why are teams still doing it today? Why are they still doing it? Why are they still doing it? How are the Philadelphia Eagles doing it? How are the Philadelphia Eagles managing every single season in a salary cap? How are they continuing to sign these players? How are they continuing to do it? How are the Detroit Lions? They've done it year after year. They've been doing it now for the last 2 to 3 seasons. They keep on adding and they keep on adding. How are they able to do it? How is Green Bay doing it? Do we not realize that Green Bay is pulling off the very thing that Jerry Jones can't seem to pull off? I heard a lady talk about this, and she said something that was so powerful. She said, don't listen to Jerry Jones when he says that it's a salary cap issue. She said, that's why when you do your taxes, you don't do your taxes yourself. You get a tax specialist. That's why you get a tax specialist. You know why you get a capologist in a cap era? Because you're not a cap specialist. And Jerry Jones is either not a cap specialist or he's fooling us all, and he's just saying these things to fool the people who he can fool. Because Jerry, why is everybody else doing it? That's going to do it for me, guys. We're going to be back. We got 2 shows tomorrow. I can't stay on here all night. My wife's home. Barry Church said that a stronger defense would have beat Green Bay in 2016 during the playoffs. I'm agreeing. Dak killed it in that game. Dak killed it. It's not his fault they lost. It's not. It's just not his fault. Elite quarterback Mahomes and Brady. We've already disputed you on that because Patrick Mahomes is actually going backwards. Brady had the defense in the beginning, and then he became the man. Patrick Mahomes, and we're going to see how it goes for the rest of the season after this one, he started out being the man, but now if you look at last year and this year, it's been the defense and the running game. You don't need elite quarterbacks when you got great, I mean absolutely great. And right now, the Kansas City Chiefs have an absolutely great defense. Facts, Purple Soul. Yes, no doubt. No doubt. That's going to do it for me, guys. We're going to be back tomorrow. I plan to be back at noon. We'll probably start doing some summing ups of some of the things that we talked about on offense and defense. We're going to get some more on the injury report. Hey, DFW, it's just sports. I appreciate you talking and giving your comments, entertaining. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody's comments. Y'all, please, if y'all like this video, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share it with others, and let them know about this channel. We got a lot of great things coming up in the future, especially in November and December. And hopefully we'll be talking about playoffs. Amen? We'll be talking about playoffs. So, until the next time, let's talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Peace.